Hello and welcome to our Westies 2.0. Mr. Dowdell, it's a pleasure to be here.
It is certainly excellent.
Did you think this time 13 months ago we'd be having this very conversation, the end of the year awards? What do you recall?
13 months ago, no. 10 months ago, yes.
Yes, that's fair.
13 months
That's
ago,
fair.
absolutely.
The only thing I remember about last year's Westies was how incredibly hot it was in the auditorium.
It was.
I still haven't recovered, I don't think. It was brutal.
Yeah, I'm a little upset I don't have my green jacket on today.
You know, it's just nice to be here next to you in an air-conditioned room, and we're maskless now for the first time in a while.
I know, it feels good.
Vaccinated, right? So let's talk about this year in athletics. First of all, I think the best part of the year, we made it through. We played full seasons in every sport.
Yeah,
Almost.
From a student standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, I couldn't be more happy with how we performed. But yeah, getting through and keeping students safe was the big part.
Yes, absolutely. And other than the basketball issue, we had a relatively easy year COVID-wise. That was a lie. I should not have said it that way.
Most actually did not have a year like us, though.
That's true. That's very true. We were the exception to the rule. So let's go through. We've got a nice list in front of us.
We do.
Let's kind of hit some highlights by sport, just real quick, kind of the 2-cent version. Highlights of the year. Go, football.
So we beat number 5 Hartsville, which was a really big win for us.
We also beat at the time. Wilson was number 5 at the time. So
Exactly.
That was a cool little Saturday.
Beating 2 top 5 ranked teams within the year is fantastic.
This is the SEC West, obviously Region 6 4A. I think 4 out of the 7 teams from the top 10 at one point during the year. So a very, very good year for football.
Made the playoffs?
Yeah, made the playoffs. Took a long ride to Buford, but next year's exciting too. That was a cool year. Some highlights. How about volleyball?
Volleyball made the playoffs. Always a big thing. Great for us. Coach Coker, 300th win.
Yep, again.
Which
that's inside jokes are cool. You guys can be a part of one day. Also, volleyball had 2 girls signed to play college volleyball.
Yeah.
Very cool. Emmy Rollins was a All-American.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat. A very, very good year. Tennis, girls tennis. I'm sorry.
Yes, girls tennis. So region champs, which is always a huge thing for us.
Yep.
A very good
Co-region
job.
player of the year,
Absolutely.
and Kate Sansbury. Also, city champs. So those are the top 3 sports: football, volleyball, and girls tennis. All city champs. That was kind of a theme as you'll see going through here. Let's talk about girls golf.
Girls golf. Played lower state, did well.
Yep.
Played well enough to play in the state,
Correct.
which is the first time I think our whole team has made it in quite some time.
I think this was the 6th year of golf for girls golf, and made it to state. So also, Coach Wegman was the North-South coach this year.
Yeah,
Incredible accomplishment.
They just continue getting better each and every year.
And I think right now they're in spring practice again. Today's the 25th of May. They're in spring practice, and I think their team size has doubled from last year. So very, very cool. Let's talk cross country.
Cross country, boys and girls both won the city championship.
Yep, very good. Their numbers were up like 20%. I think we had to take there was consideration for taking 2 buses to a cross country meet at one time. So that's a great problem to have for us.
And both teams also met at the lower state.
Yes, very much so. Charlie and Connor ran in state. A couple girls ran in state also. So a very, very good year for cross country.
Good job.
Let's talk girls swim.
Girls swim, as we're going to say again.
City champs.
City champs.
City champs. We also had several girls, I think 5 or 6 girls swim in the state championship. The Howard girls were in there. Isabella Guerrero had a tremendous showing at the state championship and coming back for next year.
Also an indoor sport that,
it's indoor, outdoor.
I guess they did swim outdoor this year.
Yeah, it was hard to find pools this year. Francis Marion wouldn't let us swim inside, so I think we went to the Country Club of South Carolina a good bit. Went to Hartsville's YMCA. We had it way better than the beach schools. They had to swim like one school at a time, and that was not a lot of fun. We also Micah Thayer represented the boys in the state championship also. So
good job.
A good swim season. So fall sports. I'll say the sport. You say we're the city champs. You ready? Football.
Us.
Volleyball.
Us.
Girls tennis.
That'd be us.
Girls golf.
That'd be us.
Girls cross country.
That'd be us.
Boys cross country.
That's another one.
Girls swim.
Absolutely, that's us.
That's a lot. It's a lot of hardware. We're running out of space. So let's get to the winter sports.
Yes.
So boys basketball season.
City champions.
In our heads, we were not the city champions. We maybe could have been. We lost to Wilson on a buzzer beater. Tremendous basketball game.
That
here
was
in
actually
West Florence.
one of the best ones I've watched all year.
Awesome game. A lot of excitement. Girls basketball also not the city champs. So let's tell this quick story. Girls basketball played one school on a Monday. The next day, found out that school tested positive. Girls basketball season's over. Boys basketball had the number 1 seed going into the region tournament, and the day before the tournament started, had a kid test positive, and so
ended them both early.
Neither team played more than 7 games, I believe.
Yeah.
But showed tremendous growth, had some all-region athletes on both sides. The girls basketball team signed a few players. We'll get to that later.
Yes.
Tremendous seasons, albeit short seasons. So we're done with winter now. That was easy.
That was.
Let's go to spring sports. Let's talk baseball.
Well, I think the biggest accomplishment was beating number 2 Hartsville here.
Correct. Beat the starting pitcher that night for them ended up being the 4A state player of the year.
Yeah.
I want to say we beat them 4-3. Does that sound right?
And really, I mean, we went from early region to pretty late. 2 weeks before. I mean, our record was just
absolutely. Well, I mean,
unmatchable.
overall, I think we finished 17-6, 18-5, something like that. A tremendous season. And in a normal year, you of course make the playoffs. We finished tied for second. 4 teams in our region were in the top 10.
Yeah.
We finished tied for second. Lost all the tiebreakers, so it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But compared to last baseball season,
it was
and
also have a couple players, as we'll say later, going
that's
to play
correct.
some college ball.
Correct. Some all-region performers, that kind of thing. Let's talk softball.
You want to talk about a difficult region?
Softball's tough.
It is.
In this region, you got Darlington that to date is still playing softball. They have a 1-0 advantage in the lower state series. Hartsville, one of the best players in the state, tremendous.
Yeah.
Of course, that school across town that wears blue, tremendous softball program. Coach Jones does a great job, and we're just trying to compete. And this year had an especially young team.
Yeah.
But still battled. We're in all of them.
And we had Amara Burgess.
She's
representing us in the
North-South All-Star. One of many for us this year. We'll get to that. But a great season for her, too. Let's talk boys soccer. We had a pretty big milestone in boys soccer this year.
I believe it started with 600 wins.
Coach Billy Andrews, 600 wins. Do you realize he's been coaching soccer here at West Florence longer than you and I have been alive? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. But not only that, I believe he's the teacher of the year for their school this year.
That's even cooler.
So that just goes to show you that his dedication to Florence.
Only 2 people in the state history have won 600 soccer matches as head coaches. So that's pretty special.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Oh, and by the way, they won the city championship.
Yeah, and made the playoffs.
And made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they had to play at James Allen University, and that was a tough
difficult
out.
one.
That is. Let's talk girls soccer.
City champs.
Check. It's becoming a theme.
Made the playoffs.
They also had probably the coolest win of the year. I was going to say one of the highlights of the year. So we're playing South Aiken, who's won 3 out of the 4 last state championships. We go to overtime, and in a regular soccer match, you have 2 5-minute overtimes and then PKs. Well, in playoff soccer, you have 2 10-minute overtimes and then a golden goal and then PKs. So we win on a golden goal, which Short I'd never seen before in person.
Yeah.
On a corner kick from Emma O'Malley.
That's
pretty cool way to win.
Also, we had the previous 2 or 3 games that were rained out because of weather.
Correct. So we're supposed to play on Monday. We played on Wednesday, and then had to turn around and play
Thursday.
Wednesday at South Aiken, Thursday at James Island. James Island went on to win the state championship by a score of 1-0. We lost 2-0 after playing for 100 minutes the night before. So nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of that team coming back next year also.
Great season.
Yeah. Let's talk track.
Boys won the region.
Girls
got second.
And by the way, convincingly won the region. So a tremendous season. Girls came in a very close second. Obviously, they were the city champs. And this past weekend at the state championship, Darius Holmes finished second in the 110 high hurdles, finished second or third in the 400-meter hurdles, and his relay team, the 4x400, in addition to breaking a school record, came in second place. So a tremendous
school record. That's pretty good.
No doubt. Girls team also had just a tremendous year. Michaela Hayes ran in 3 events at the state championship. Aisha Patterson had a great season.
Absolutely.
Some young people as well. Darcy Dawson was ranked number 1 in the state for most of the year. Had a great season. So let's talk some miscellaneous stuff. So we talked about Coach Wegman being a North-South coach.
Yeah.
Riley Gunter from the girls tennis team, North-South. I think she was one of 6 or 8 girls to make the North-South game.
Yeah.
Mara Burgess, Emmy Rollins, all North-South All-Stars. Also Josh Walton for boys soccer. So it's pretty cool to have that many in a year.
Plus, don't we have 2 athletes here that won the only 2 spots for?
You're still in my thunder here.
Play of the year.
You're still in my thunder. I'm going to get to that. Can we get to that? Okay. We'll get there. Also, we hadn't mentioned it yet. We are playing bingo at home. We're playing bango at home. So you haven't said yet. We're almost through all the highlights, and you have not said above and beyond yet. So just remember, don't forget.
Well, I'm going to be honest. The whole 2021 year has been above and beyond.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. How about 16 kids signing to play sports at the next level?
Yeah,
That's really, really, that's a pretty high accomplishment. More than
in a difficult year where I don't think they're throwing out scholarships.
Very, very
these
true.
these are legitimately earned scholarships.
How about more than 50 all-region athletes in the best region in the state? More than 50 kids make
great.
the all-region. 4 all-stars we talked about. We also had, you mentioned this already, 2 Florence One Schools Athletes of the Year.
How many did they give it on this?
Just 1 male, 1 female.
Oh, so there's only 2.
That's it. We won all 2, and we also won for the 9th year in a row. So that's back to 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 COVID to back in a row. The All Sports Trophy. So that was mission accomplished in that. So next year we'll go for double digits. That'd be really cool. I'm looking at our notes here. Let's not mention that. We had 2 Region 6 4A Coaches of the Year. Coach Warren Coker in volleyball was the Coach of the Year. And Coach Braxton Ivory, by the way, in his first year. So, hey, pretty good hire. He was Region 6 4A Coach of the Year for men's track and field. 2 more things I'm super proud of. Dr. Richard O'Malley, the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association Superintendent of the Year.
Yeah, that's a huge honor.
No higher honor in our state than to win that award.
Yeah.
And he, probably pretty deserving this year.
If you look at the facilities, he's done a pretty good job.
We hadn't mentioned the facilities yet. We'll get there. I think the thing I'm most proud of, the thing that you're probably the most proud of this year is out of 303 varsity athletes here at West Florence, you take all their GPAs, you add them up, you divide by 303, that number is a 4.23.
That is always
That doesn't happen a lot of places.
No, and that's always the thing I can hang my hat on at the end of the day.
That's pretty cool.
Not only we have great athletes, but great students.
That are getting it done in both places. I told them yesterday,
Absolutely.
The ones that signed, it's not a coincidence that these kids keep signing because their grades are so good. You do the work here, do the work here. It's not a coincidence. All
Absolutely.
right. Well, let's get into some of that facility stuff you talked about. For those of you that are unaware, we're building a new soccer and football field out here, 221 North Beltline. I think they're about 3 weeks away from being completed.
Yeah, so I actually just talked to the architect today. A little bit more concrete. They have to go pass some inspections, but really here by mid-July, we will have been through absolutely everything and passed all inspections.
And what they say is, what they've told me is like the hard part, the heavy lifting, the machinery, that's all done. Now it's all details and light fixtures and that kind of stuff. So
it looks fantastic.
It really does. It's going to be something we can be proud of for
a long time.
A very long time. Also, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, the new weight room we have is as nice as anybody in 4A.
I've been in there. It's a little intimidating.
It is. It is.
But it is fantastic, and the kids are absolutely loving it.
It's something the kids can get behind and be excited about lifting weights. So that's cool. All right, Skylar, cut it. We got our like general information out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's go to our individual coaches and let them tell us how this is. We know this is probably going to be a long video. If you don't care about hearing about this team, fast forward. Pretty simple, right? That's the beauty of virtual award shows. Right now, let's go to Miss Jan Chatlosh, our swim coach. All right, we're now here with Coach Jan Chatlosh. She is our swim coach, in addition to being Wilson and South Florence's swim coach. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us today. Why don't you, let's start it off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about a very short and sweet swim season?
An interesting season. We started 3 weeks late, had nice early morning practices.
That was
then we had to go
on a daily basis, right?
Then it started getting too cold. We had to go inside to have late evening practices. So we kind of came through a lot of stuff. Our parents were great. Our season had no spectators, so our parents really couldn't see their kids swim this year. And they were real understanding. They would drop their kids off and didn't get a lot of meets in because of the numbers. So
I think we got 4 meets, and I remember talking to parents that were saying they had to essentially drive to Columbia, drop their kid off at the meet, and they couldn't even stay in the parking lot. Like, had to drive around town and just wait for the call.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and we couldn't, we just had to go with what their restrictions were.
Sure.
We had a meet in Columbia, we had a meet in Sumter, and then we did 2 meets in Hartsville that we hosted. So we had 3 regular meets and then the region meet. We had 15 athletes for West Florence this year. Tommy, Noah, Micah, and Vincent were our boys swimmer, and Sarah Beth, Mariah, Faith, Emma Claire, Isabel, Emily, Sarah, Melina, Marie, and Sullivan were our girl swimmers. I have an awesome assistant coach, Coach Gatlin. The kids love him. He does a great job with technique and doing outsets for them. And then we had a volunteer parent that I don't know that I could have done the season without. Her child actually swims for South Florence, Jennifer Calcutt, and she kind of took care of all the COVID sheets we had to fill out After we took their temperature, she'd make sure that she filed them for me so I could send them off to y'all. We have two great senior swimmers that have been with me forever, Faith Fields and Emma Claire Frank, which I know I know I'll miss them, and I think the kids on the team will miss them. Our team's kind of develops as a family, so it's kind of nice.
It's unique too in that it's not just the West Florence kids, right? Aren't our kids pretty close with the Wilson kids?
Yeah, our kids get to be really close to the Wilson and the South Florence group, and they all kind of help each other out. So, like, if one person's not doing well, they'll give them suggestions on how to do better. So, it's kind of a nice thing. They all work together. We had a few really neat moments in our short season and not having much. Micah Thayer really wanted to get to state, and I mean, when he qualified at region, you would have seen the biggest smile on a kid's face, which was kind of neat. Mariah and Avon kept on improving their backstroke and went in, and they took off 3.55 seconds and 2.40 seconds at state, which I thought was really good in a short time. Isabel, Emily, and Sarah Beth all placed first, second, and third in the 100 free. That kind of gave us that nudge to beat out North Myrtle Beach in the region. I think they were really surprised that we took the region. I mean, they were like, "How'd you do that?" And I thought, yeah.
Well, it's always nice to win a region championship.
All three of the relay teams made it to state. Sarah Howard was named the all-region swimmer of the year because of taking first place in the 200 IM and the 500 free.
She's a freshman, so that's a even more impressive thing to do.
Yeah. She's tough. Emily and Isabel, they just have a heart of gold, and they just keep on swimming, and they improve, and they're just really neat. These kids are really neat kids, and they're very passionate about their sport. It's nice to watch. We had some all-region swimmers, which means they had to place first or second in an individual event or be on a first place relay. And Sarah Beth, Mariah, Faith Fields, Isabel, Emily, and Sarah Howard were our all-region swimmers, which is a good group of kids. We took a bunch to the state meet, which was nice. All of them improved on their times at state. We placed 11th in the state, which I thought was good. Isabel Guerrero, of course, placed in the top 10 in both of her individual events, which was really dynamic.
She's got another year to go too, so that's exciting.
Yeah. The two that, Emily, Faith and Emma Claire are the two I'm losing this year. And they're kind of like the glue of the team. Emma Claire is very mothery, and she kind of mothers all the kids, and Faith tries to make sure they round them up and stuff like that, so they're neat kids. But it's only two of them out of the group. The rest of them are all coming back. So I see that we'll have a good season for the next couple of years.
That's super. Well, let's get to some awards. We can go with the girls first. I'm looking at my spreadsheet as we're talking here. Why don't you tell us about your Coaches Award?
I like the Coaches Award. The Coaches Award's kind of a neat little thing. I have a swimmer that has come through a lot, swimming with me over the years. And I gave the Coaches Award to Faith Fields. She had a concussion a couple of years ago. And so, she fought through that, and she has just persevered and really worked to maintain. And she was the one that came on my relay to help my relays out to place real well at state. And her 50 free and 100 free have come so far. And she's such a hard worker and such a dedicated teammate that I gave her the Coaches Award. She's one of my seniors. My MVP, of course, goes to Isabel Guerrero. She's just a natural swimmer. You watch her swim, and she just goes smoothly through the water. She
It's
swam
weird.
the.
It's powerful, but it's kind of gliding at the same time, right?
It looks effortless. She looks like she's not. You don't. All of a sudden, she pops this great time, and you're like, "Where'd that come from?" You didn't look like you were going fast enough. I really think the training over the off season, she'll come back even stronger next year. You know, we have to understand these kids really haven't been swimming since March.
Sure.
When the pandemic hit. So, you know, some of them are just kind of getting back into it or kind of trying to do it on their own. So I look forward to, you know, her really coming on strong next year as a senior. My most improved for my boys is a new student that I think he's a virtual student at West this year. He's never swam with us before. His name is Vincent Smith. And he's one of those kids that you tell him to do something and he automatically starts doing it. And so every time, and Gatlin is just great with the kids, and he'll say, do this with your hand or do this with your, you know, with your movement. He did everything that Gatlin said, and I just watched him drop time, easygoing, nice to all his teammates, just improved and improved every time he swam. My MVP for my boys goes to Micah Thayer. He wanted something so bad, and I thought, I don't know that this child's going to get it, because he was pretty far off on his 100 back and his 50 free, but he kept on, and he would say, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? And he had the biggest smile on his face when he got a qualification at the region meet for the 100 back. And then he turned around and swam even better when we went to state. So just an awesome kid, which was really great. And then I gave my teammate, you put a teammate award out there. And Emily Howard she just has a little heart of gold. She tries real hard. She'll give little suggestions to people, but she just works and works and works. And she's a really neat individual. All of them are. I mean, I just really enjoyed swimming with all these kids, because they are just watching them grow up from the time they're 7th grade until high school, into high school. It's amazing to watch them mature and develop into young ladies and young gentlemen.
Well, very cool. It sounds like you have a very coachable group coming back too, so we're excited about that.
Thank you, Coach Chatlash.
Thank you
very
much.
Cool, shortened but cool swim season.
Yeah, you did an excellent job. Thank you.
And now let's go into Coach Rich Weidman with our cross country program. We're now joined by Coach Weidman, our cross country coach. Coach, it's a pleasure to have you here in our second ever virtual award show.
Glad to be here.
Did you watch last year's Westies?
I did.
I want to say this is when we announced you as the new coach.
Absolutely.
Cool,
yeah.
full circle.
Very
that
nice.
Was what, 9 months ago? Something like that? 8 months ago? Not a thing has changed in the world since then.
Nothing.
So we're glad to have you. We are glad to have you. So we're going to talk about our cross country season, and it was a really, really good one. I don't want to say anything bad and take your thunder. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, 2020 was an amazing season for both boys and girls cross country teams. You know, sometimes when you come in as a new coach, there's a lot of resistance to doing things differently. That was not the case with this group. Not only did they not resist, they embraced the new training philosophy. And a lot of that was because of the great leadership from our seniors. They played a huge role in making that transition go smoothly. So as I look back, and reflect on the 2020 season, man, we had some great accomplishments. Really proud of these accomplishments. Boys and girls, city champs. Boys and girls, region runner-ups. Qualified to compete in the 4A state qualifier, which was much tougher this year.
I was
than
going to say
usual.
there was like 12 fewer teams that qualified for that this year, right?
That's right.
Yep.
So less teams qualified for state. We had 3 boys and 2 girls earn all region honors. We had 8 young men finish the season 20 minutes or faster for the 5K.
For those of you that don't know, that's pretty fast.
That's getting fast, yeah.
3.1 miles.
Absolutely.
It's the extra 0.1 that makes it tough, I think.
It is. And both our boys and girls just missed qualifying for the state meet. So boys were a special place, 5 points out, which considering how much they grew this year, we were pretty proud of that.
And at the at the qualifier, wasn't it like a situation where it was like the finishes for Hartsville and for us were kind of
Yeah,
tenths of a
yeah.
second?
Hartsville, poor Hartsville.
Yeah.
They lost it on a tiebreaker,
Yep.
and one of their kids, missed, was beat by like a hair, and that changed the whole race. So, given all that information, in a normal year versus a COVID year, boys and girls both would have qualified for state. That being said, we did have three athletes qualify for the state championship meet as individuals: Missy Hodges, Charlie Mazik, and Connor Bailey. Best part of this season, though, easily the best part of this season, was watching these kids grow and just become better, stronger, faster athletes, but also just learning that they could handle more than they thought they originally could handle. So that's
the whole thing about growth too. I mean, that's the goal for our kids, is to leave better than they came in. So that's cool.
Absolutely. I mean, I could say a lot more, but I know pretty soon here, Coach is going to cut me off.
What I've been asked about the most is it possible you could turn the swagger down a little bit with the socks? You're out dressing everyone, and the coaches and the other schools are really upset that you're making them look bad. What was your favorite pair of socks this year?
My favorite pair of socks, probably a pair of socks that one of the kids gave me, actually. Pair of black and green socks that had some lightning bolts on it.
Fast.
I never even knew there was a Coach's Day of the year. Like you have Sweetest Day or you have Valentine's Day. You might want to edit that.
Dad joke, bingo.
So Griffin Pennington, comes to practice today. It's National Coaches Day today. And I was like, really? I had to look it up. So that was really awesome to get those on. Cool. I really like those.
Well, I know it's going to be hard for you to give awards. And I think one thing we talked about in our end of year coaches evaluation this year, we had 38 kids run cross country this year.
I think that's what it was.
We more than doubled from last year. And so in a global pandemic, I know you want to talk about all of them. I want to isolate a few. Let's go to our awards winners. Let's go to our girls first. Our Prefontaine Award winner for the girls. Before you say who it is, Steve Prefontaine's obviously the most famous distance runner of all time.
Absolutely.
The mustache, pre-lives, all that kind of stuff. So to get this award would mean that you are an exceptionally hard worker, successful, that kind of thing. So tell us, who is your girls Prefontaine winner?
Well, our girls Prefontaine winner this year is someone who's who came to the season with pretty big high hopes of making some big improvements, and she certainly did. And she really became a leader for our girls, both on and off the course. And I couldn't be more proud to announce that Jordan Roberts is our girls Prefontaine this year.
This was very well deserved.
Yes, very well
Senior
deserved.
leadership was exceptional. Work ethic was exceptional. Had to drag her sisters to practice every day.
Yes.
Jordan's a great representative of our program.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk girls MVP.
Girls MVP, man, that's a hands down thing. So that's based on the MVP for us is whoever wins the most races throughout the season, or whoever our top runner is. And that person was Missy Hodges. Freshman, first year runner, new to West, and she came out, and from day one, you could tell that there was something special there. We're really excited to see how her career continues to.
Very excited for Missy. And she's probably going to run track too, I'm assuming.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Very good. Let's talk boys. How about your boys Prefontaine winner?
Oh man, our boys Prefontaine winner. Again, great work ethic, great leadership. This kid is also that, where did this kid come from kid. Every year as a coach, you have surprises of new kids that come out, and this was that guy, and that's Charlie Mazik. Man, Charlie came out and early on was, kind of trying to figure it out. I didn't know what to expect. Other people had said, man, Charlie can run fast, but early on I didn't see it. But as the season went on, man, Charlie just made so much progress and ended up having our fastest time of the season at 17:05.
Pretty fast.
Absolutely.
And he ran in state championships and had a good finish, especially.
Yes.
He's a junior, is that
Junior,
right? So he's
that is
back
correct.
again next year?
Yep.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that people watching at home that have been to our award shows, that know how these things work, they know what to expect out of our boys MVP, right? This is
Absolutely.
not going to be a huge surprise.
No, the boys MVP is.
You want a drum roll?
There you go. Okay, so the individual is Connor Bailey.
There you go,
Connor Bailey. I'm sorry, I just said,
that was not meant to take away from
I'm
Connor Bailey's
sorry.
performance. Connor Connor's the cream of the crop here.
He is. Connor is easily one of the best, highest quality leaders that I've ever coached. Been in coaching for a long time, and Connor is one of the reasons why, if not the reason why, the transition of me coming in as a new coach went so smoothly. I can't say enough good things about Connor.
Even if they hated your guts, they would have run hard for Connor, I feel.
They would, yeah, because kids love Connor. Connor is not afraid to tell the kids what they need to do, but Connor's also, he just has a temperament and a way of saying that they want to do what he says.
He's also like the smartest kid I've ever talked to.
He is.
He's got a future in brain surgery or rocket science or something like that. So.
Absolutely.
Connor's a great kid. He had a super career here as a
did.
cross-country runner, and not done yet. Can have some track too.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, you had a fantastic season. We're looking forward to many more fantastic
Absolutely.
seasons, including track coming up in a few months. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
What do you think are your favorite pair of Coach Weidman's socks?
I mean, I like that he started with purple, but he has gradually gone to green, so he's really updated
I
his
too am a
stuff.
fan. My favorite ones are the black ones with the 2 green stripes. You know it's business time when you see those. So
Absolutely.
If you guys see our cross-country team there with the black socks and the green stripes, just go
Thank
ahead.
you for your first year here and an excellent year.
Absolutely. Great job in the classroom, too.
Yes.
All right, let's go to Coach Wegman now with girls golf. Coach Wegman has now joined us in the recording studio. Coach Wegman, I just want to start off this interview. I'm upset you wore that shirt today because you know how much I like it and how jealous I am. I'm looking like a bum, and you got this nice Peter Millar stuff on with Be Good. It's sharp, though, man.
It's all about the content, you know.
Looks really good. Looks really good. We're happy to have you here. Golf season was a long time ago, but we're still going to talk about it. I'm pretty excited to talk about it. It was a great year.
It was a great year.
I would make the argument best year in school history.
Well, since I have taken over, it is the best golf season that we have had as a team, and we were very excited, and we're ready to get back out there next school year and get cranking up.
If I'm not mistaken, this was year 6 of the program. Is that right?
I believe so.
How long have you been doing it?
I guess for 5.
Okay, very good. Then easily best year so far.
Easily.
Talk to us about highlights.
Well, some of our highlights were definitely having 5 girls on the golf team who were all in, as Dabo would say, and they showed up to practice. If they were not there for a practice for another sport, which we had a couple girls who were doing other sports, they knew that they would make up their own time.
And not just that, they did it.
And they did it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
They had forms, they were committed to it, and they were out there on the golf course getting practice in.
Very good stuff. Also, Lower State.
Well, before Lower State, even at region, we got 2nd place at region, and
Met your goals, right?
we met our goals. We wanted to be in the top 3. Well, we wanted to win, but we definitely got in the top 3rd of the schools at the region championship. Got 2nd place. That was our highest finish for me as a coach. And then we went off to Lower State, and you had to qualify for the state championship, and that was our goal.
Had to shoot less than 400, right?
Had to shoot less than 400 as a team. We did that. We accomplished it, and we went to the state championship and had a great time and got 11th in the state.
It's a pretty sweet deal, man. Not so bad. And there's kind of an upper echelon of girls golf in the state. Everybody, they're there every year, and that's it. And our goal is obviously to become one of those. And I think we're
That's right.
well on our way, and to be allowed to play in the state championship. It's just an unbelievable accomplishment. So very, very cool. Let's talk about some of your awards. Let's start at the bottom of my list. Your academic award winner for the year.
Our academic award winner was Madeline Atia. She was one of our captains. She and all the girls on the golf team are committed to the academic side. They are in the classrooms. They're doing good in all their classes. They are
I like the way you
focused.
said that they're committed to it, but that's also a compliment to yourself in that you're committed to making sure they're committed to it. That's a lot of ways. That's a lot of words, but kudos to you too for enforcing that.
Well, thank you.
Madeline does a super job in the classroom. Speaking of Madeline Atia, she won another. This is going to turn into the Madeline Atia show, I feel like. Madeline won the Community Service Award this year for our female student athletes. Tell us about the foundation she started.
So Madeline started this little organization called Mad About Golf, and it's all about trying to get young girls into the game of golf. And she volunteers her time and spends time with them out on the golf course, on the driving range, trying to teach them the game. She even recently had a golf tournament about 3 weeks ago where she had a father-daughter tournament, and the dads and the daughters played golf together as a scramble, and they were raising money to give back to junior golf. and try to get entry fees paid for young
That's right.
girls to play tournament golf this summer.
Very, very cool stuff from her, and her dad Steve helps a lot with a lot of that stuff. Just a really cool organization.
Yes, there he is.
Talk to us about your all-region performers this year.
Well, we had 3. We had one that was first team all region, and then we had 2 that were in the second team. And we had Alan McGillivray, who was first team. She shot her personal best at region.
It's like 77 maybe, does that sound right?
It was something that low.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember that.
And it was her personal best. It was her first time breaking 80 in a competition, and she was able to get us into that second place by shooting that personal best.
That's right.
Because we beat Myrtle Beach by 1 stroke.
That's right.
And then we had Julia Klein and Madeline Atia, who were second team all region. They had some of their best performances of the year as well. And you want to be peaking, when you're going into the postseason, and that's what we were doing.
No doubt. Talk to us about, and I know you wouldn't bring this up, but I'm going to. How cool was it from a personal standpoint to coach in the North-South All-Star game this year? All-Star match is what I should say.
Yeah, this year I was the head coach for the North-South team, and that was a lot of fun. It was really cool to kick off the end of the season by being able to go to that golf tournament with all the All-Stars on the state level, who were some of the best girls in the game of golf for the state of South Carolina. And they treated us well. Even during coronavirus, we were still able to have a competition because it was outside.
And that was rare in the fall. Like volleyball didn't get an all-star game, football, none of that stuff, but golf did. So that was really neat. And congratulations to you. Obviously, the sport's highest honor really for a coach. So
Well, thank you.
Well played. Also, I want to give you kudos. We agreed this year to host a lower state championship out there at Country Club South Carolina, and Mike helped us out a good bit. But talk to us about how cool was it for you and for the girls to host an event like that?
Well, it's a lot of work to host the tournaments, and you don't get to actually watch your team as much either,
Right.
which is I guess a negative of hosting, but you get to do it at a course that you're familiar with. Our home course is Trace's golf course, and then we hosted region there, and then we hosted lower state also. So
We hosted region too, that's right.
we had 2 tournaments in a row that we were hosting, and all the coaches said it went well. I think that helps us being able to host them again in the future and give us a better advantage by being able to have that
It
home
helps your
course
reputation
advantage.
too, just from the standpoint of these guys are willing to do the work, first-class organization, and I appreciate that as the administrator.
Oh yeah, and we have to admit and say that, if it wasn't for our assistant coaches of Chris Dale and Jeff Felton this past season, that we wouldn't be able to do it on our own. And with Skylar Wise and yourself, Coach
Sure.
Johnson,
I have nothing to do with it, but
You guys were out
but
there.
You do a great job.
well, you made sure that we got those Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches, and those girls were very excited about that.
Same. Let's talk about your awards. You got 2 awards to give out. Your first one is your coach's award. We said the name before. You can say it again.
Well, Madeline Atia, and she was one of the captains, and we had to have 2 captains because there were just clearly 2 girls that were veterans on the golf team who were committed from when we started our preseason practice all the way back in May through the summer. Well, we didn't start in May actually because of COVID.
That's right.
We
Didn't
didn't
start
get
till
to
like
this year.
mid-June maybe.
Yeah, it was. It was much later. I forgot all about that. I was just thinking about what we're doing right now. But anyways, we had the coaches award for Madeline. She was one of the captains, like I said, and just always committed to being there. And when she was at cheerleading, because she's a 2-sport athlete, she was going to make sure that
And
she
it's,
made
you
that
know,
time up.
it doesn't get enough credit. She was also always at cheer. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she was going, I'll be there tomorrow, whatever. She made the work up, so that was awesome. Tell us about your MVP. I feel like we hadn't talked about her enough and just how good she was this year.
Well, Alla McGillivray is a 9th grader, and she was our MVP award, and she was on the team since 7th grade, and so have been several girls being their 3rd and 4th season on the golf team. But she was able to be our number 1 on the team this year and continue to lead the way with commitment in practice, showing up every day, being there on time, staying a little bit later, doing the extra work to make sure that she can perform at her best. And even in the off season, most of these girls, and Alla especially, are out there 2-3 days a week, getting in more practice. And these same 5 girls that were the team this year are the same 5 that are coming back. We didn't lose anybody, and we've gained about 6 or 7 more that are wanting to be a part of it next
What
year.
happens when you start winning, everybody wants to get on board, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to step up because there's a high expectation for the work ethic that we have now.
Here we go. You've done a really, really good job establishing the standard here. So I'm appreciative. It's no secret that you and I are not just coworkers, but we're buddies, and so it's very cool to have somebody like you People don't know that when I first moved here in 2009, you and I were roommates a long time ago.
Roommates.
In a house that didn't have any heat.
No heat. We burnt pizza boxes just to try to stay warm.
We did.
So.
First year teachers that didn't have any money and no heat.
Not gonna lie, that life was kind of fun though.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. A lot of little Caesars. During that time. But Coach, I appreciate all you do for us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Coach.
And I look forward to next year's golf season.
All right, let's go.
If I could say anything about that segment, I would say it'd be good. Coach Wegman would be good. Coach Wegman is a joy to have around. Does a fantastic job with our girls.
He does. He loves the game of golf. So thank you, Coach.
He really does. Let's go now. Let's go to Coach Warren Coker, the Region 6 4A volleyball coach.
300th win man.
Hey, several times over. For joining us, we're going to talk. You have 2 sessions of this. Let's talk volleyball first.
All right.
So, a fantastic volleyball season, made the playoffs despite a much shortened season and a much smaller playoff field.
Yes, sir.
I'm taking all your glory. Why don't you tell us about the season?
We finished 13 and 4, excuse me, and 10-2 in our region, finishing second in the region. A very strong region that had a big field of teams that very competitive. So I felt lucky and felt
the Myrtle
blessed
Beach match was especially fun. Was that
both of them.
Yeah.
Down there we went 5 and won it in 5, 3-2, and then here we lost the first 2 games in that one and came back to win the last 3 to win that.
The
and
limited
secure.
capacity crowd was kind of wild for that night. So
Yes, it was.
a good night, a fun season. You tell us about some of your awards, and we'll talk about some individual accolades. Maybe start at the top of your list.
All right. This year's Coaches Award goes to a young lady that had to play multiple roles this year. She got pushed around a little bit to play different positions and fill in where needed to be, and she never really wavered, never complained, and just did her best and at everything she could do. This year's Coaches Award went to Riley Yerson.
Very deserving. Riley also signed last week to go to St. Andrews
That is
to continue her volleyball career. I believe that's in Laurinburg, North Carolina. So Riley, congratulations. Talk to us about your Rookie of the Year award.
This year was Rookie of the Year. She came up and was put to the test very quickly. She became a starter, and she was a setter. This year, our Rookie of the Year goes to Rachel Herod.
Rachel Herod. Great young lady, too. Always very good attitude, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, Rachel did a fantastic job for us.
All right, keep going. Keep going down your list.
All right. Next, Defensive Player of the Year. This goes to a young lady that, she plays back row for us, and she is strong with her passing, and we have benefited a lot, and she has progressed a lot this year as well from her play. This year's Defensive Player of the Year goes to Jordan Perry.
Jordan Perry is a strong player, still a puppy. Like you forget, she's a sophomore.
She's a sophomore, that's correct.
And she's a 3-sport athlete, so a very good year for Jordan. Nice to win an award. There's going to be a huge secret about who your MVP/Night award is.
Night award goes to a leader on and off the court, and overall play. And this year's Night award goes to Emmy Rollins.
Emmy had a pretty good year.
Emmy had a great year,
She had a pretty
considered
good
a
year.
short year.
Yeah, much shortened season. I think she had something like 391 kills or something like that.
291
291,
kills.
yeah.
291 kills, but she is now the all-time leader in kills here at West Florence.
Pretty big deal. She was also very casually the Region 6 Player of the Year. She was all region 3rd year in a row. She was an all-state player. She won the Benjamin Moore Scholarship.
And she was also selected as an all-star
She's a North-South
player.
All-Star. She was the Under Armour All-American Honorable Mention team.
And she got Under Armour All-American Player of the Week.
The National Player of the Week.
National
yeah, that's right.
Player
So
of the
that was she had a very good, very casual, awesome season for the record book. But she's not alone. There was a lot of people on the team that played huge roles.
We had so many, and we are going to miss the senior class tremendously. Analia and Alyssa. Abigail came out for the first time as a senior this year.
Speaking of that, you had some all-region athletes. You mentioned Alyssa. She also was nominated to the all-region team.
Yes, and
Ryan was as well.
Ryan Caldwell was an all-region. And then, we had some other seniors that are going to be missed. They may not have gotten a lot of playing time, but did get, did help the team grow.
Ashley Palmer, fantastic young
Ashley
lady.
Palmer, Grace Mahoney.
Grace Mahoney,
So these are kids.
tremendous contributors.
Yes.
It should also be mentioned you were also voted the Region 6 Coach of the Year, so a tremendous honor for you. I want you to comment.
One other one,
Go ahead.
Jalen Johnson, also
number
out
2
for
in
us,
your Heart Memorial program.
she is one of those players that has she really improved over the year too. Jalen just had a lot of heart, and that meant a lot to the program.
Very good. All right, stop that for a second. More academic award winner for the highest GPA in the volleyball team, Abigail King.
Oh,
First year volleyball.
First year volleyball player, and congratulations to Abigail. I'll tell you, if she had been playing for years past, she caught on to so much this
She really
year on the court. So, and it's no surprise if she can do that well in a classroom, she can
And
catch
she
things
is
on the floor. and
she
be
is
tall.
heading to the University of Tennessee.
Wow.
So what a lane fight
Awesome.
song they have, but a great school. Congratulations to Abigail. Coach, anything else you want to add about the volleyball season?
Just we're looking forward to the next year, but this year was a lot of fun, even though it was a much different type of season than we're accustomed to. And I'm looking forward to things getting back to a little bit more normal pace.
Amen. Let's talk JV volleyball awards. Before you talk about the awards, talk about Coach Campbell.
I can't say enough about Coach Campbell. She came in this year and really took over, and I didn't have to worry
I
about
was going to
things
say
being done.
she kind of left you left him alone. And said,
Yeah, her practices were so organized, and she was very thorough about what she expected and what
Sure.
she wanted from the kids. And I saw a lot of growth in that
Agreed.
team because of her coaching ability.
Yeah. All right. Talk to us about your JV award winners. Talk about JV volleyball awards. Talk to us first about the most improved player of the year.
Bea Aguilar. Bea is one of those players that was kind of under the radar at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you saw this great potential in a defensive player that she was becoming. And over the season, you just saw those steps and progressions.
Tremendous communicator on the court.
And
right?
she has
Holy smokes.
She has the way of
Yep.
commanding people on the floor with her talking and communicating so well on the floor that people are really know where she is and knows what's going on.
Sure. All right. Talk to us about your JV Night Award.
All right, JV Night Award goes to Elizabeth White. We call her Izzy. And she is a tremendous player coming up from the middle school.
Sneed, right?
She's a 7th grader at Sneed this year, and she just, her
She can play.
volleyball knowledge
She can play.
and IQ is just outstanding. She can play.
That's very cool. Congratulations to you girls. Coach Coker, looking forward to volleyball starting here soon this summer.
We've already started.
Cut. Thank you, Coach Coker. Lots to celebrate in volleyball this year. Just a tremendous year.
Yeah,
Indian
and one of the
Valley
most
going on.
exciting sports for me to watch.
Volleyball's great.
Yeah,
You know what I
just-
hate about volleyball? It's the loudest sport there is on the planet.
Yeah.
It's just constant, just whistles and
Yeah.
this whistle and this.
Yeah,
score.
the whistles do get on my nerves, but I love the action.
It's great. It's tremendous. Everybody's diving around, and
Yeah.
it's a high intensity sport. How about girls tennis season?
Abby Sullivan.
Abby Sullivan.
Yeah. I love her as a teacher.
Sure.
And I know you love her as a coach.
I do.
And the care that she has for those girls out there is just
And
phenomenal.
she had a group this year. They've been together forever. Like I feel like the Emily Kings, the Riley Gunters, they've been here since way before you and I, and we'll probably be here longer than you and I. I'm speaking, that's their longevity. But they've been a group that's been together forever, and they've done a really good job. They had a pretty good year.
They had a great year.
Had a
And I'll
pretty
tell you
good
what, the thing about tennis is I never knew I was a tennis fan.
Yeah.
Until I was the principal at West Florence.
You come out here and it's a good tennis atmosphere. Like that sounds crazy.
It is.
Our
The
first
parents-
home game this year for any sport was tennis, and we were like, in the district office we were meeting, and they were like, you can't have more than 200 people. And I said, well, we're going to. And they were like, okay, yeah. And we did. The first home match,
Yeah.
people set up tents and like tailgated. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, guys, you can't do that. Like, this is COVID, and
Yeah.
put your mask on, that kind of stuff. But,
We are very competitive, and
We are.
it is just each and every day that they play, I love watching them.
and by the way, region champs. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Undefeated in the region. Had a tough loss to who we lose to in the playoffs? Hilton Head, maybe. Hilton Head. They made it
Yes.
to the Final Four.
Remember they chartered the bus?
They
It was
did.
that
And they
whole-
brought 8
yeah.
girls on a charter bus. So what a flex. Not I'd do the same thing if we had that money.
That's right.
Whatever. So girls tennis, Coach Abby Sullivan.
Congratulations.
And we are now joined by Coach Sullivan, our girls tennis coach. Coach Sullivan, you had a fantastic season. What was y'all's final record? 15-3. Does that sound right?
Yes, I think that was right.
An undefeated region season, a region champion season, so a lot to be proud of. I don't want to take all of your talking points, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your tennis season?
Well, with everything going on this season, it was an abbreviated season. We really didn't have much of a preseason and didn't include a lot of the tournaments and stuff that we are normally able to participate in. So basically, we just had the region schedule as well as 2 non-region matches. And, even with the 2 losses that we had, 1 in region and 1 in non-region, just very close matches, very competitive season. As I've said the last couple of years, our lineup has been one that, was competitive from top to bottom. This year, even with 15 players, I still feel like I had that competitiveness,
Sure.
with everybody that played. So,
Well, and your lineup changed some throughout the year too, with challenge matches and.
oh yeah.
think
I
we
mean,
had
when
3
I
girls
say,
for one.
right, when I say a competitive group of girls, I mean, typically, you'll have some seasons where the girls don't want to challenge. They're complacent. They're good with where they are. But these girls, I mean, they were ready to battle it out every single week. I mean, ready to challenge to get to that next level. So, I mean, it's
Sure.
awesome. It makes for a great season.
And it was also a fun region, a new region for us, and a fun region having to play Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach and Hartsville and Darlington, obviously. And that was cool. And obviously the in-town people. So
Oh, yeah.
let's jump into your awards. Let's start off. Who was your Rookie of the Year this year?
Well, the Rookie of the Year award was a new award that I kind of implemented this year. With the season, we had 6 new incoming 7th graders. That is something that I don't think I've ever had.
I say that's new for you, right?
Yes. So, I loved it. The girls, the spunkiness of the attitudes, like, it's just great. They were so happy to be at practice every day and so happy to be at matches. But these girls came out like battling. And I mean, the first day of practice, they were ready to get out. They wanted to meet everybody. But then it was straight to, let's play and let's see where I'm going to be on the team this year. So I really, wanted to, award them, for being such an integral part of the team. And, all of them stood out. They all played very well. We were able to play some additional matches this year that gave them all the opportunity to play. But I really felt like one in particular really stepped up, whether it be, through match play or whether it be through, positive attitudes or, just going out and practicing, trying to get better every single day. And so our Rookie of the Year award winner this year is Maddie Seegers.
Maddie, to be as small as she is, she hit the ball so hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she started off playing doubles, if I'm not mistaken. And
She did.
she ended up being.
She ended up playing doubles. She started out, I
That's what
believe,
it
number
was.
5.
That's what it was.
Yes.
And they were aggressive, and it was kind of funny to see girls that were so young and
Right.
so undersized, for lack of a better term, just be so aggressive and win a lot. So
My number 2 doubles girls, everybody we played, they always admired their size, but then they're a big fight in the match.
Yeah,
So,
sure. And spunky to boot.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Let's talk about your coach's award winner.
Well, my coach's award winner goes to a girl that's been with us for a couple of years. And, with the coach's award, I kind of look at leadership and I look at excelling in their position, sportsmanship, kind of all of those things go together. But really with this coach's award, it comes down to one match we had here at West Florence under the lights. It was probably one of the longest matches that I have seen this young lady play as well as anybody. But when I say it was point after point after point, like the longest that any of them could be, but competitive nonetheless. I know that her body and her legs probably wanted to give up way longer than that match went, but it just like the epitome of the player and the season that we've had this year, like the great fight. I want to give this coach's award to Amy Smith.
Amy Smith is very deserving and a fantastic representative of our program. She doesn't say a whole lot. She's a sneaky, funny student athlete.
Oh, she's very witty.
And that match you were talking about, I want to say, was that Myrtle Beach maybe or North Myrtle Beach?
No, that was I think it was the Wilson match.
Wilson. I remember it being like she finished finally at like 8:53 or something like that.
It was a late night, and I'm telling you, that is probably one of the longest matches, and it wasn't like a 6-2 and then come back in the second set. It was battle every point.
Went to third set tie break and just went for it.
The whole 9 yards.
She had an assignment due at like 9 p.m. that night, and she was like,
that was the first thing that she told me when she came off the court.
She said, I need you to call my teacher like right now. So that was cool. Amy's very deserving. And speaking of lights, it was our first ever tennis season under the new lights. So a huge shout out to our school district, Dr. O'Malley, for getting that done. It was very nice.
Very appreciative
to play on one court. So that was cool. And our opponents appreciated that as well.
They did.
Let's talk about your MVP.
Well, our MVP award, like you said before, our team kind of turned upside down many times throughout the season. But, at the end of the season, they've all played, they've all, gotten back to the point or gotten to a point that they feel like is their highest level of competition. This player, has been one every year she's been on the team. She's competitive. She's always, just analyzing the situation on the court, whether it be singles, whether it be doubles, just always trying to get to what can I do to be better. And she ended up being number one for us at the end of the season. And I think that Kate Sansbury is very well deserving of the MVP award.
Absolutely agree. Kate was she was Region 6 Player of the Year this year. She went undefeated in region play. I think she lost two matches this year, one to Hilton Head and one to Carolina Forest, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So a fantastic season for Kate. She ended up representing West Florence in the state singles tournament, which the top 32 in 4A and 5A combined go to. So a tremendous season for Kate. I will say I have one knock on Kate, and I've said this to her face, so it's not going to be a surprise. Kate's DJ vibes are not it. And Kate needs to work on that. We've talked about that extensively, so she will work on that. You've got, tell us two more things. Who were your all-region selections?
Our all-region selections, so we had some first-team all-region selections as well as some second-team all-region selections. Our first-team all-region selections go to our three girls that split time with the number one spot this year. So they are Kate Sansbury, Riley Gunter, and Maggie Merle.
That's correct.
And then our nomination for second team all region was Kennedy Horn, which she finished number 4 for us this year on the team.
And something really, really cool about Riley. Riley was chosen for the North-South All-Star match this year.
Right.
Something different this year. Instead of playing it in the fall, they're going to combine tennis this year. They're going to play in the spring. I want to say that's in May. And so
Yes.
Riley will represent us, and we are very excited about that. Riley has had a very, very good career here. One of the seniors is going to be moving on, but a super career. I'm sure her losses are probably in the single digits in her however many years she's been playing tennis. Probably
yes, Riley's a very competitive player. She's another one. Any given week you can find her still out on the court. Just trying to excel in her position with singles and with doubles because they are moving the North-South to the end of the seasons, which are in May, but they are going to try to implement, with the female and the male mixed doubles. So she's really excited about that opportunity. So.
All right. So your last award, tell us about your Teammate of the Year award.
My Teammate of the Year award, if you were to ask any of the young ladies on the team, they would probably all give you her name. Sometimes with teams, you'll get to where you have kind of a little bit of divide with the older girls and the younger girls. And this year, especially with me having so many younger girls, I really talked to the entire team. We want everyone to feel welcome, no one to feel left out. But this young lady was a standout. I mean, from making sure people had what they needed every day, making sure they felt comfortable in their position. Hey, you want me to go give you some volleys? Do you want me to serve some and let you return them? She would go out and, work with different players one-on-one. But she's always uplifting, always positive, always encouraging to everyone on the team. And so our teammate of the year award goes to Emily King.
I can hear Emily's parents just screaming Gibbs at home.
I'm going to miss that so much. I've heard it now for
Emily.
6 years, and I don't know what I'm going to do not hearing that. So.
Emily is she is of the utmost deserving of this award. And I don't think I said this to Mr. Dowdell when we filmed our first part, that nobody loves West Florence High School more than Emily. So good for her. And Coach, congratulations on a fantastic year and a region championship. And we look forward to this summer getting it started again.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let's go now to Coach Jeff Lee, who, by the way, JV football finished undefeated this year. Let's hear about it.
We are here now with Coach Lee, our JV head football coach. Coach, you had a literal perfect year. Nicely done.
Thank you.
You can tell the story a lot better than me, obviously. So tell us about your season.
We had some good kids. They worked hard for the summer, and they showed up and they looked good. Didn't know they were going to be all physical and stuff, but
Sure.
Played hard.
Well, it was a weird year in that you never saw your kids play until they played their first game.
That's right.
And I think they scored 50 in the first game.
We had 46.
Whew. So
That was kind of surprising. We weren't really expecting that.
a pleasant surprise.
Happy, but
A
yeah.
pleasant surprise. So I think by my math, in our last 17 games, we're 16-1, something like that.
Yes.
I think in our last 20, we're like 19-1. So a decent run for you. What's the secret?
Good kids.
Good kids. Good kids. You got good coaches. I mentioned Coach Jim and I talked earlier about Coach Suggs on the defensive side of the ball,
Yes.
Coach Dixon, yourself, obviously. So talk to us a little bit about your award winners. Just like the varsity program, we give out captain's awards.
The whole group was just a really good group of kids. They were very well coachable, and they got after it. And really during the season, we had a couple of kids, get hurt. It had some people get sick. So it was really a team effort, but we did have several kids that just sort of stood out.
Sure.
One in particular on offense. I mean, this is no surprise to anybody. Darren Lloyd, he was a touchdown machine from anywhere, anytime.
Darren Lloyd probably had 1,500 yards of offense in 8 ball games.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were missing him for one. So so it was amazing that what he showed up for. We hadn't played in a couple of years, but he played this year, and we were certainly happy. Mason Benton, also just a really good kid. He played both ways. He played special teams. He was on the field all the time.
He's going to be a very good football player.
He's going to be he looks the part too.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
big
doubt.
Kid,
First off the
athletic
bus type kid.
Yes. And Nick Burton, played for us last year, and just we were really glad to have him. I didn't know we were going to have him this year, but we were glad to have him because he performed defensive line. He was always there.
Sure.
He'd get down the line, make tackles all over the field. And then the other kid we had, our other award winner, Brody Cook. Saw him this summer. He looked good. We were glad to have him. Really didn't know what he could do. Didn't get to practice until that first game. And then the first game, muffs the punt, first thing out. Talk to him. Don't sweat it.
That's right.
A quarter later, he runs an interception back for a touchdown.
Well,
and it just went from there.
He also, it seems like, just watching you guys defensively, he played the strong safety, he played the free safety, outside linebacker, inside linebacker.
We literally called him our little Swiss Army knife because he played everywhere. He played pretty much every position on defense at some point or another.
That's cool.
Just had a fantastic job.
So a ton of really good football players, better kids, I feel like.
Oh yeah, great kids.
That's a great season. It was made even more impressive by the fact that we played games at so many different spots.
Yeah.
We played games at Snead, Memorial Stadium, none of them here obviously because of the construction. So that's another feather in your cap. A job well done. So
that's all about kids. They did great.
We can't thank you enough for that.
And I do appreciate Coach Sogan and Coach Dixon. Honestly, I got to sit back and they could do their thing, and it worked really well.
Cool. That's the best way it's supposed to be. Also, it's cool to see Coach Dixon I coached him 10, 12 years ago
Yeah.
here, so it's cool to see him grow up. And he's a really good football coach. He does a good job.
He
so.
does a really good job.
I think the best compliment we can give you guys is when the guys get to the varsity level, they're ready to play. You guys do everything that's asked of you as far as incorporating the verbiage and the expectations and that kind of stuff. So congratulations on a fantastic season.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Coach Lee. And without further ado, let's go to our fall sports finale. Let's go to Coach Jody Jennerette. I'm willing to bet he's going to throw in a professional wrestling reference. What do you think?
I would agree with that.
Probably so. Here we go, Coach Jennerette.
We're joined now by Mean Gene Okerlund. I'm sorry, this is Coach Jody Jennerette, our head football coach. Coach, it's a pleasure to have you here. We hadn't filmed in a while.
We broke the internet last
Sure.
time we did it, and people
Sure.
wonder about the force. Okay, it's the symbol of excellence. Okay,
If you guys don't know Coach Jennerette, it's year 3. It's time to get to know. He's a professional wrestling fanatic and a historian.
Yeah.
So we have a game that we play here of comparing our athletes to professional wrestlers, both current and past. So it's kind of a thing we play that you guys may or may not be interested in, but it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch it.
Yeah. Let's talk about your football season. It was not weird at all. There was nothing of note, right?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about our staff from top to bottom as far as how we handled the COVID preparation. I thought, obviously, you did a good job with it. Our administration did a great job with it. Skylar did a great job with it. Our training staff did a great job with it. Our assistant coaches were incredible.
Fantastic.
As far as just stressing the importance of putting that mask on, doing everything right so we could have a season. And if you'd have told us at the beginning of the year that we would play a 7-game season, obviously going into the playoffs, I'd have thought you were crazy. But we found a way. Kids were fantastic. Our community was fantastic, and it just worked out great. So definitely found a way to get through a COVID season.
We got through some tough, very tough region. Won some big ball games in the region.
Mm-hmm.
We also closed out Memorial Stadium forever. You won't make that drive anymore. Much shorter walk to the stadium now.
Yeah, without a doubt. That was the toughest part of the whole Memorial Stadium deal. I loved the atmosphere. I loved everything about playing over there. So many great games in that facility. But driving 20 minutes to a home football game just didn't make a lot of sense. And kudos to Dr. O'Malley, what he's doing, what he's done, and fired up about it. So I'm ready to play.
We'll also say that Randy Hilburn and staff at Memorial Stadium, they were responsible for the grounds. No one does a better job than Randy Hilburn.
That was probably the worst turf 15 years ago when I was at Conway. There was actually rocks on the field.
Yeah.
So what Randy did with that
it was
place,
about this thick.
yeah, does not get enough credit.
Yeah.
Amazing turf.
He does a good job for all of our schools and baseball fields and that kind of stuff. All right, so let's talk about some captains awards. We don't give MVPs and most improves and that kind of stuff in the football program. I think it's part of your leadership development thing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, our captains are guys that we do a great job in the classroom, do a great job off the field, and do a great job obviously on the field. And going back to our season per se, we think it's a big deal when everybody's disappointed in a 5-3 season. You know, we think it's like Coach Hiller told me one day. He said, "Coach, we'd have had a parade if we'd have went 5-3 when I played here." So these guys are kind of our building blocks of what we kind of wanted to instill whenever we walked in the door here. And just a great group. You'll hear me say some redundant things throughout this thing because all these guys are the exact same people. So I think,
and they have been for a while.
Yeah,
right? These guys have all bought in.
Believe in it. They believe in it, and super excited to give these guys their awards. Number 2 is Nike Elias Johnson. Nike's son with Virginia Tech. Obviously, good for him, good for his aunt, and good for his whole family. To have an opportunity to go play in the ACC. But you would have never known that if you came to one of our practices. He was as humble as he could be, great attitude. But whenever it was time to go, I'm gonna give him a Ric Flair type of vibe from Nike because it was time to go. He was styling and profiling, and you'll see on his highlight tape he did a little stuff. Standing over people and things like that.
Sure.
We got to clean that up. But
little flair for the drama. That's okay.
Good for Nike, man. What a great representative of our program. Our second captain award is going to go to Samaj Johnson. Samaj has a nugget, and so do I. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say that. But Samaj is probably one of the best human beings I've ever been around. Never late, always on time, great attitude.
Sits in the front of the class.
I don't think he missed a day the entire time
never.
of anything that we did, lift or anything. So good for Samaj, fired up for him.
By the way, he's a 3-sport athlete, and every coach would say the same thing about him.
Yeah, he's the Arn Anderson of our football team. Kind of got a little silent vibe to him, but he'll spine bust you in a heartbeat. You got to step up to my game if you want to watch this show. Our next captain's award goes to George Floyd, and what can you say? Not say great about George. He came back from having a broke jaw this summer and came back a week later.
George was hit in a Legion baseball game in the face with a baseball, shattered his jaw. Not just broke this side, broke the other side. He didn't duck the curveball.
Yeah.
But was here the next day? Is that right?
Yeah, and was really mad because he was scared he was going to miss something, but he didn't miss nothing. He came back, played well, went and played. We played Wilson the first game. He had a heck of a game, and we won that game, and good for him. And just really excited about what George did for our program from a standpoint of getting inside that huddle and everybody listen to him. He's like Randy Savage because the cream always rises to the top.
Ooh,
that's kind of
nice.
what George. That's kind of what
nice.
George was for us. He was our Randy Savage. 87. There's Dylan Snyder, Big Dylan. Played a lot of football here. Was a 4-year starter at this program, and we're not going to replace Dylan in any way, shape, or form. He's like a Lex Luger type guy. He did everything right and just was fundamentally sound. And we're looking at our team for next season. Who's going to fill their shoes? You're not going to fill his. We got to find a way to get around it somehow. So
Dylan also worked really hard to come back from. Didn't he have some light knee surgery?
Yeah, meniscus tear.
Yeah, worked really hard to
yeah.
get his body in good shape.
Yeah, and just changed his whole body from a standpoint of that. And we're excited about where the future leads for him as well. Our last Captain's Award is going to be kind of a shock to some people. It's going to go to Nick Edick. Because whenever we got, the biggest thing I want our guys to do is not complain, not whine, not pout. Be a man, stand up for yourself, and improve. And that's what he did. Because as a junior, he didn't really play a lot. Never heard him complain much. Came back to fight next year and made a bunch of plays for us and was a stand-up guy for us. And,
probably played 100% of the snaps on defense.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can plug somebody in and say, this guy's going to be ready every Friday, that's what Nick did. That's why Nick is the Eddie Guerrero of our football season. So,
frog splash there.
Yeah, big frog splash. And just a super job by him and proud of him.
Let's talk about your, again, we've said it before, we'll say it again, the best region in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
To make the all-region team is a pretty tough accomplishment.
Yeah, well, I thought it was. But there were some schools, it got a little fluffy. I'm not going to lie to you in some aspects.
We only had 5 on here.
Yeah, and it is what it is. So when you kind of do things the right way, some people don't like that. So all region, I think Terry McKithen, this is Terry's second time making it. So good for Terry. Rest of these guys are kind of redundant. Nike made it, Samaj made it, Dylan made it, and for some reason, I don't know, George Floyd was an honorable mention for our all-region team. I think if you ask a couple of teams in our region, they'll tell you right now George was probably, if he weren't the best quarterback, probably the second best. But hey, it is what it is. And congratulations to
Ric
these
Flair
guys.
Over that, right?
Yeah, you got to suck it up and move on, and that's what we're going to do. So good for our guys.
So let's talk about, and again, I want to go back one more time to these Captain's Awards. All these guys love football. They're all 4.0 students.
Yep.
They're all community people, and they're, really, really good kids.
And we would have done a lot more with the community service if it weren't for COVID.
Sure.
That threw us for a loop, but, we'll get back on it hopefully when this thing gets out of here.
And, you mentioned Terry McKithen, Terry with the T, making the all-region team. He didn't get a professional wrestling comparison.
Whew, Terry...
Terry's he's a flashy guy. He's a get-it-done guy. I don't know. Is he Booker T?
No, because Terry's not strong enough to be Booker T.
See what you did there. Think about it.
Sure.
Terry's another guy that's potential Captain's Award material.
Yeah. Loves football.
All right. Let's talk about your teammate of the year.
Yeah, when Coach Johnson told me about this award, it took me this long to know who my teammate of the year award, and that's without a doubt Kendrick Hannah. What a great human being, what a great person, and great representative of our school and our program. And he's got over a 3.0 from his grade standpoint, just a locked-in guy, and never had a bad day at practice. Now, that's a big deal because you got some pouties, whinies out there sometimes.
Sure.
And I never saw Kendrick have a bad day. So, just can't say enough good things about him. And, I'm really, really happy that this award is for him and to him.
Absolutely. And that will do it for fall sports.
Thank you very much, guys.
And again, lots to celebrate. 2, 1. Let's go now to my favorite cheerleading coach, Coach Beth Prosser. I'm joined by our fantastic cheerleading coach, Coach Beth Prosser. Coach Prosser, I gotta say, I'm embarrassed to sit next to you. You're much tanner than me.
I'm a sun junkie.
I am pasty up over here. But as soon as the award ceremony's done, it's time for me to take some beach time. So
Absolutely.
excited about that. Coach Prosser, I don't want to ask you a question like, how was your season? Because I know it was difficult with COVID, and that's a dumb question. So why don't you tell us, what are the 2 things that you're most proud of in your cheerleading program?
Having done this job for 22 years, you get to see a lot of fun stuff.
Sure.
You get to see a lot of interesting girls. This year, this season, this varsity squad and JV squad, they overcame the pandemic, the mask, the not being able to do this, the not being able to do that, and they acted like it was normal, a normal
And when
year.
you say not being able to do this and that, like, you guys didn't have a summer together where you could practice.
We did not.
You guys had outdoor tryouts for the first time
We
ever,
did.
which was interesting, and we actually did that again this year.
It was
last
very
month.
hot, but I loved it.
And then, like, you tried out in May, and you were done for a while.
We were
You
done.
didn't come back till probably August. Does that sound right?
We had some of the seniors made videos, so they all watched YouTube videos to learn the cheers we would normally have learned at camp and on our summer practices.
I think it's cool how your seniors that are leaving always come back to do that kind of stuff. Like for tryouts a few weeks ago, you had more seniors up there. And
We did.
they're in uniform.
That's
they're
a big
teaching,
deal.
and it's cool.
It's a big deal.
It's a nice honor to be asked to come back and do that. All right, so that's one. Give us another one. Ask
Okay.
you too.
I guess I would have to say the bond that they had going on. You know, there's so many different outlooks on this team. You're coming from different parts of academic-wise, family-wise, never cheered before, been cheering since you were 4, all of that.
Diverse.
Very diverse group. And they came together and they made it work. They were accomplishing things that I think they themselves didn't think they could accomplish.
Do you think it was a cool year in that? Do you remember any like major cheerleader drama this year? I don't.
Not at all. Not at all. I know, knock on wood.
Holy smokes.
Knock on wood.
It's a
Someone
great
said
year.
that there was, but I didn't know it, and
Me neither.
the squad didn't know it.
Then there wasn't.
Then there wasn't.
So that's 2 pretty cool things. And even though it was a very difficult year, we got through it. It had a lot of good memories. How about you want to give some awards out?
I did.
Talk to me.
So my cheerleading coach, who had been here for a gazillion years, Nikki Moose, used to call us the Night Spirit Team. Whether we were at practice, at a game, so I decided a couple of years that was the award I would give, the Night Spirit Award. And in that award, it means who are the people that just, wait, before I say that, let me say, I don't have statistics. I don't have the best offensive, defensive. I have 20 girls to 24 girls who all give it 110%. But this
You could do like a
award,
best toe touch or something like that if you wanted to. Next year.
that's something to think about. They all have really good. Most of them have really good toe touches. If you're like me, they don't have a good toe touch. But the Night Spirit Award means that it was just almost a 24/7 when I saw them, that they would represent our school and our program and me and their parents as well. And I told them after every game, remember the uniform that you have on. Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass your parents. And don't embarrass your fellow teammates. So that in itself is the Night Spirit Award. So this year I decided to give it to 2 girls. They've both been on varsity for 3 years. They both cheered for a very long time. And they were just happy. They would encourage each other.
A lot to be said for that, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is. High school, teenage girls encouraging each other, I think and it came naturally to these 2. So this year our Night Spirit Award awards go to Sarah Goodstein and Lily Williams.
2, I think you described them perfectly just now. Sarah Goodstein's always just
very happy all the time.
Lily, same thing. So very, very good choices. Approve of both of those. Any other awards?
Well, we do have JV award as
Okay.
well. We do the same thing. And Coach Jordan couldn't be here today, but she sends her same exact
Same award, just at the JV level.
just on the JV team. This person always was the same way, happy. She kind of was the one. You just go along. Anything the coach asked, she did. Her name is Cyan Allen.
I like Miss Allen a lot. And again, good definition. Have you ever had a person win it on JV and then varsity?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Yeah,
for
it
Miss
is
Allen
possible.
To get that again.
Absolutely.
Something to shoot for. I would echo all of that stuff. A lot of other good stuff to talk about from cheerleading also. Let's talk about your Academic Athlete Award. This should not be a secret.
This is probably the biggest compliment to our squad.
And not just your squad, but anybody that wins this award. This is what I consider to be the highest honor in any team. Like whoever's leading in the classroom, I feel like is really setting the tone. It's probably the worst kept secret on the planet. Katie Chase is going to win this award.
Yeah.
What hasn't Katie Chase won this year?
I'm not really sure.
She won the Green and Gold Award last year, which
Yep.
is the school's top honor. Student body president, she's given the graduation speech, blah, blah, blah. Katie Chase, there's nothing we can say about Katie, the adjectives especially that this old PE teacher would use, not good enough. Katie Chase, cream of the crop. Rises to the top.
Absolutely. And everything she does.
Sure,
Everything she does.
sure.
She sets the bar
She's
high.
going to Charleston Southern next year,
She
is that right?
is, yeah.
Where she will, of course, accept. Let's go back and visit the academic side for 1 second, because we talked to death about our Scholar Athlete Awards. Our cheerleaders were not recognized in that because the South Carolina High School League does not, confirm what we do, sideline cheer, as an official sport that they can letter in. However, had we added cheerleaders to the list, we would have been over 65 of these Scholar Athlete Awards. So your cheerleading team is in the top 3 as far as GPA in our scholastic and athletic world. So don't think that we are trying to diss the cheerleaders with the Scholar Athlete Awards. They are absolutely deserving. There are, hello, Katie Chase is on the cheerleading team. You guys are strong, academic, and Katie's not the only one. A lot of that stuff going on.
One of the biggest things is when I look at their schedule, they take some hard classes.
Oh.
And some of them have jobs as
I'm
well.
not even sure that you know this, because you don't work in the building, for those of you that don't know, but on Mondays we do grade reports. So Skylar and I, at 9 a.m. on Monday, an alarm goes off on my phone and it's stop what you're doing, do grade reports. And we pull it, and literally in 3 years you've never had one on the list of D or worse.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't get
Very
the
proud
email
of them.
on Monday, because you don't have anybody failing. So tremendous job on the academic standpoint. Anything you want to add to the season? And basketball was shortened, that kind of stuff.
It
You didn't get a whole lot
was.
of basketball cheer.
It was. And
You guys, and let's say this, just so we can look back at this in 5 years. For cheerleading this year in the gymnasium, you guys had to all sit in the bleachers,
social
6
distance.
feet apart. You guys had your own
We
section,
did.
no student section. Just super weird time to be a cheerleader or a basketball player.
It was.
You had a nice 2-month break during basketball where there was absolutely nothing to do. Just a weird season.
I'm very proud of them for embracing. Thought we were going to split the squad, but then when we got the note from you that we could have the bottom bleachers, they all wanted to come and cheer together. So it was not I'm tired.
That's right.
I want to.
Which is not normal for basketball season.
It's not. Normally basketball season, they're all tired, but and I'm tired. And the squeaking of the basketball shoes.
That's you and I both. That's our just.
But they love it. They love the basketball.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Which is great. It's
Yeah.
great for them to love the spring and fall sport, the winter and fall sports just as equal.
Coach Prosser, it's a absolute pleasure to have you here today with us.
Thank you.
No one loves
Appreciate
their
it.
sport more than you do. We all have said that in your intro and outro video that we've already filmed. We appreciate all you do for us here.
Thank you. Appreciate all the support. Go Knights.
Go Knights. No one loves their sport more than Coach Prosser loves her sport.
She absolutely
She is
does.
as into it as
And has
she
been
is
doing it
anything
for a
in life.
long time.
Yes, no doubt. And really cares a lot about the product we're putting out on the field. So job well done, Coach Prosser. Let's
Thank
go
you,
now
Ben.
to Coach Kevin Robinson, who this past year was our head girls basketball coach.
Yes.
But moving forward,
He's going to be the head
boys basketball coach.
basketball
So
coach.
excited to have that. Coach Robinson, let's hear about women's basketball. Coach Robinson is in the house. Coach, thanks for joining us. We're here to discuss girls basketball season this year. A shortened season, but still not without highlights. Tell us about it.
Well, I mean, basketball season, what it was this year, we had to fight, of course, through COVID, but we was able to get a couple of games in. The season didn't end the way Coach B wanted to end, but nevertheless, I was proud of the girls. The games they did win. I've seen a tremendous progress from the year before into this year. And so, again, my biggest highlight from the season this year is seeing my kids go off and further their athletic career.
Well, and the thing that stinks about these kids is when you first got here, 3 years ago?
Absolutely.
When you first got here, they did not buy into what you were selling. And now all of a sudden they finally bought in. They're finally playing really well. You're in the
Right.
top 10 in the state, and you get your legs cut out from under you by COVID.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But kudos to you. I think I said last week at our awards ceremony, your greatest accomplishment here, you raised the team GPA from a 3.3 to a 4.0 in 2 years, and that's unbelievable. So job well done in that aspect. By the way, you had some ballers also.
Yes, sir.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
that was very cool. We'll get to your awards in a second.
Okay.
Before we get to a lot of your awards, I want to tell you about some winners Another award that the administration all kind of met on and talked about, the Comeback Player of the Year. There's only one real choice for this award, and it's Nadrea Bradley. Talk to us about Nadrea and her work ethic and what she did to come back.
Absolutely. Nadrea's junior year was tough. We had high hopes for Nadrea. We was in practice one day and she went down with an injury. First day of practice, actually, she went down with an injury. And that stunned me. That really kind of stunned me, and and I know that affected her, and that really she was kind of in a funk. But she understood that she had another year, and she fought, and she worked hard over the summer to kind of get back into the groove for her senior year, and she was able to bounce back as if she never missed a step, man. I'm so proud of her.
Even in the shortened season, she improved from game 1 to game 8.
She absolutely improved, and my thought was in the beginning of the season was to kind of hold her back and kind of ease her into the game, but I think we played our first scrimmage here at home, and Nadrea just showed up and showed out, man. And from that moment, I said, Nadrea's back.
No doubt. Pail Award is given to somebody that just shows up every day, outworks everybody. Analea Cook.
Yes.
3-sport athlete. Tell us about the basketball version of Analea.
Yeah, Analea Cook, same thing on the basketball end. She shows up day in and day out, does everything I ask her to do. Sometimes she's there in the beginning of the practice, she stayed extra to kind of put some hard work in. So very deserving of Analea Cook. Absolutely. I'm proud of her.
Absolutely. She's been a big asset to West Florence High School.
Absolutely. Analea is one of those players that she's a utility player. She plays all the way around. She gives her all. She puts her heart and soul into everything she does.
Wears her emotions on her sleeve.
Wears her emotions on the sleeve. And she's got a little, as I call, spitfire to her. She can really show up and spark a team when that team needs spark to get things going, and she can put that fire under the soles of their feet. So it's no surprise on that award.
Your academic award winner this year, Amara Burgess. I think this is her 4th year as a varsity basketball player and her 4th one of these awards.
Yeah. Amara Burgess, again, when it comes to academics, she just blows me away. I mean, I love, not only the one thing I love about Burgess, I love what she does on the basketball court, but more so on the academic level in the classroom as well. And she's always willing to step in
the classroom as well.
Absolutely, and she's always willing to help other kids, tutor, and anything, on the academic front. She was always willing to help and kind of be there to mentor kids. So I love it. Very deserving. I'm proud of it.
Agree 1,000%. Let's talk about your all-region selections.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's start with Shakayla Cohen.
Yep.
I think she'll be a 3-time all-region player.
That's correct.
In my last 2 years here, she has been nothing short of amazing. Being my floor general, my point guard, and she was my leading scorer this year. And she put the work in, and I'm proud of her. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing, what she's going to do.
Shakayla signed a scholarship last week to go to William Peace University.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited about this.
And your other all-region selection, we already talked about her a couple times, Nadrea Bradley.
Yeah. Nadrea Bradley, again, bounce back award. I love her toughness, and she was very observant. And she put in the work. We didn't have very many games this year, but the games we did have, she showed up rebounding and putbacks and transition. I just love it. It's almost like she never had an injury.
Sure.
And so I am very proud. One thing I'm very proud of, she will be furthering her career at Vorhees College too to continue her athletic career.
Very good. Darcy, by the way, going to Columbia College.
Absolutely.
Amara Burgess going to USC Union to play softball.
Yep.
Shakayla Williamson signed with Columbia College this week.
Absolutely.
Shakayla Cohen's going to William Peace.
And Analea Cook is going to Francis Marion.
That's correct.
So there's 5 lady nights that's going on
to the
next level.
Cool. Very cool.
Yes.
Let's talk about your JV team for a second. Okay. Your coach's award, Miss Shemaya Inman.
Shemaya Inman is one of those kids that I walked the halls. I was talking to her. She was reluctant to come out in the beginning of the season, but the more I talked to her, the more she bought into what I was telling her, and she showed up.
No doubt.
She showed up, and she did a real good job for the JV team this year. And she really enjoyed it. One thing I like about her, she do something good. She has the biggest smile on her face, and I love it, man. I love it. But
and your JV MVP, somebody that I had a lot of fun watching maximum effort person, diving all over the place, black and blue by the end of the game. I probably just gave the award away. It's Jordan Perry.
Jordan Perry, I mean, what can you say about Jordan Perry? Jordan Perry is a tough little cookie. You know, she doesn't mind doing the dirty work. You know, she understands about yay high, but man, hey, she commits her body. And she is an excellent teammate, an excellent leader, and she gets it done in the classroom, also important. So
Absolutely. Talk to us about your defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year.
My girl. My girl.
Sierra McKnight.
CC.
Second year, I think, winning this award.
Yes.
Anytime I needed somebody to step up to guard a team best player, Sierra McKnight was always there to say, Coach, I'm ready. And one thing I love her, you know, my motto is heart, effort, intensity. If anybody exemplifies that, that is Sierra McKnight.
Sure.
She exemplifies all of that, heart, effort, and intensity, and she don't mind going in and doing the dirty work.
Sure.
And I love her defensive intensity.
You know, as good of a player, as intense as she was, better kid.
Absolutely.
She was an intern in my daughter's kindergarten class.
Okay.
And was like a teacher's assistant or something for one of her classes, and my daughter just loves Miss CC.
And has one of the best smiles you can ever see.
No doubt. She was a real asset to our program.
Absolutely.
Offensive player of the year, go ahead.
Offensive player of the year, again, that goes to my field general, Shaquilla Cohen. Again, one thing about Cohen, she's always willing to put in the work before practice. She stays after practice to put in the work. Tough little player, don't mind.
She's always here.
Always here, always. And there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to have a stellar career on the collegiate level. So I'm very proud of her to kind of see what she's able to do on the next level.
So somebody that we don't talk enough about is your coach's award winner. She has been, and all of these girls, this little foursome, they played middle school basketball together and just kind of inseparable.
Called the 4 for 4.
As a group. The Wendy's 4 for 4. You got Shaquilla Cohen, you've got Amara, of course, Nadrea and Shaquilla Williamson.
Absolutely.
Shaquilla Williamson is your coach's award winner. Tell us why.
Shaquilla Williamson, you know, her work ethic, I love her work ethics more so, and she gets it done. Shaquilla Williamson is one of them kids, she's going to do everything you ask her to do.
Absolutely.
You know, not only on the basketball court, but also in the classroom as well. Good kid to be around, very respectful. And so again, she's another kid I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what she's able to do on the next level. And again, she'll be going to my alma mater, Columbia College, Koala. Shout out.
Koalas.
So again, she's very deserving of that award.
Could not agree more. Coach, girls basketball season was great, but now today is May the 27th. You've done your part filming the award show. Guess what? You're done with girls basketball. You're now the new boys basketball coach at West Florence High School.
Absolutely.
So,
Night Nation, baby.
Lots to celebrate in the past, lots to look forward to in the future.
Absolutely.
We're happy to have you on board. So, Coach, next year let's do this in person. Let's give out some rings.
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
That's the plan.
Appreciate your time. Coach Robinson's never met a microphone he didn't like. Ever.
I like that.
I love that about him.
You know, I love what he's done with this program, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens here with our boys.
And I told Coach Robinson in 2 years, their GPA when he took over was at like a 3.2.
Mm-hmm.
Took it up to a 4.0 this year. Incredible work in just 2 years, and also won a fair amount of games. All
Absolutely.
Right, let's go to Coach Nate Livesay with men's basketball. We are now joined by Coach Nate Livesay. Coach, thanks for being here. We haven't had like a meeting in the office in a long time, man.
Yeah,
basketball was a long time ago. It was a fun year. It had its highs and its lows, obviously. Tell us about basketball season this year. What little basketball we had.
Well, you know, I think that's the thing that was most disappointing about how the little we had is that we had a really good group.
Yep.
You know, I'm firmly convinced that if this was a normal season and we played through the season, this is a team that wins playoff games and has a chance to make a run. You know, unfortunately, that's not the way it played. You know, we were off to a great start. You know,
Turkey Shootout was here.
Yeah, Turkey Shootout was here. You know, only loss there was, you know, the great Military Great Collegiate, who was a powerhouse. You know, I think South Carolina, LSU just offered their best player, and they've got a number of guys. And then we played Darlington the next night, and you know, put together, you know, down 2 guys, but together one of our best performances of the year.
That's right.
And played really well. You know, we swept Lakewood the next week, and like I said, we hadn't even started to play our best basketball. We were still 4-1, and then we got a 60-day layoff.
We went I'm trying to think. I want to say it right. We played Lakewood on a Tuesday, had 0, and to that date, before that Tuesday we played Lakewood, we had not had one single kid in our entire year get COVID, and then we went and played Lakewood, and then the Saturday after we played Lakewood a second time, we had like 7 kids, just bam, sick.
And so then we had a 59-day layoff, I believe, in between, and then we came back and played another week or two, and I think we lost on a buzzer beater to Wilson here in just what was a really good environment for such a small crowd. A really fun basketball game. Went to North Myrtle Beach, lost on another buzzer beater, but still had some highlights. Had the 1 seed going into the region tournament, and obviously had some COVID issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, that one of the things that we always talk about is, you know, you have to control what you can control.
Sure.
And this season, hopefully more than any other season ever, really just brought that to light.
You know, and
we're not in control.
The poor JV basketball team got 2 games in this year.
Yeah.
2 games, and their issue, they'd have one kid get it, everybody's quarantined. They come back and have one practice, one kid would get it, everybody's quarantined, just over and over again. So they played 2 games this year. Hey, undefeated season for JV basketball, so that was cool. Let's talk about some of your kids, and before we get to your awards, some of your kids won our awards, and so I wanted to go over that with you. First up, your academic award winner. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Josh Daniels, the academic award winner, you know, obviously does a terrific job in the classroom. You know,
over a 5.0. Yeah, he's almost at a 5.2.
Yeah, and we have some you know, some really good students on the team, and so there's competition for that spot. And you know, Josh obviously performed really well to come out on top and win that award.
Absolutely, congratulations to Josh. Talk to us about some of your awards. The defensive player of the year.
Yeah, the defensive player of the year I thought was a pretty easy pick. You know, our team defense was much better when he was out on the court. You'd Savion McBride, and just we had nobody else his size. And
Can't teach 6'6",
yeah,
right?
his
wingspan.
combination of his size and his athleticism, you know, just being able to impact the game and, you know, just being able to make people think about what they're doing, block shots, rebound, take up space, and be able to move. You know, he's not just a tall guy who's stiff, he's a tall guy who can move.
Covers a lot of ground.
And so Avion, you know, again, just scratching the surface of what he's going to be. But he led us in rebounds, led us in block shots, and really was just a defensive difference maker for us, who could do things that nobody else on the team could do.
He was fun to watch, and the entire team was fun to watch. They can run they all run so well, and they all cover so much ground, and it was a cool crew to watch. Speaking of running fast, talk to us about your offensive player of the year.
Yeah, offensive player of the year is really the playmaker award. You know, it's the guy who makes the offense go. And again, I felt like this was a pretty easy decision as well. As Darren Lloyd, you know, when he had the ball and when he was playing well, we were at our best. When we were at our best, Darren was playing well. Because he just puts the defense in such a bad position with his ability to shoot and his ability to penetrate. You know, and when he was on, we were really hard to guard.
Another one of these flatline guys.
Yeah, and again,
the moment wasn't too big
for a sophomore. You know, going from playing some on the varsity to the starting point guard, 28 minutes a game guy. You know, handled that really well. Particularly with, you know, we didn't have really time to install stuff before the season, and then we had breaks.
People forget there was 0 summer basketball.
Yeah, and really that's the thing is June is huge in basketball.
And I think in June we were still at that point where you could have like 5 kids or 9 kids and a coach.
Yeah, that it couldn't pass each other.
It's really weird basketball.
So I mean, just all the guys, you know, to overcome the obstacles that they had with a new coach and, you know, inexperience, and to go on and be able to do that was really terrific.
All right, got your MVP.
MVP was Bryson Graves, and it just, you know, a ton of things you can say about Bryson. He was first or second on the team in virtually everything. You know, points per games, rebounds, blocks, steals, charges, and really had just that kind of competitive spirit that you need. That, you know, Bryson wanted to win.
Bryson made a few plays every game. You just go, oh wow, that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he surprises you. You know, you look at a play, you know, a couple of blocks. I'm sure those are the plays you're talking about.
Some LeBron-ish from behind.
Yeah, like there's no way he's going to get to that.
That's
and he gets to that. Not only does he get to it, he completely blocks it out of bounds. And so, just a combination of his competitive spirit, his skill level, his willingness to play offensively and defensively with incredible energy the whole time. You know,
and you know, I'm looking at our list here. So MVP, current sophomore, offensive player of the year, current sophomore, and defensive player of the year, current junior. So a lot to be excited about with that crew.
Yeah, no doubt. A great group of kids to be able to handle the way this season went, and to show up and do the work every day. You know, even after 60 days layoff, you know, we come back. Those that came back and worked hard, did everything you asked them to do, went out and competed, lost a tough game, went right back out to compete.
And competed as hard the next night.
Yeah,
and even coming off of that, you got Valerian Bruce, who's another one of those same guys, makes things happen. Terry's coming back, Valerian's coming back. You got a guy like Chris Taylor that can play 1 through 5 coming back. So a lot to be excited about for a basketball.
Absolutely, the future's bright for West Florence basketball.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming in. Anything you want to add?
No, just that, like I said, it's a really pleasure to coach those kids. Really talented kids, and I expect them to do really well next season. But I think the thing that stood out to me the most is 5 or 6 of those guys that we've talked about tonight, and then some of the others that didn't win awards. Just a really high character group of kids.
For sure.
Don't know that I've ever coached a team with the same combination of talent, character, and academic performance like this group has. And so it was really a pleasure to get to coach them.
Very good. Thanks, Coach. Coach Livesay had some moments this year. Boys basketball had some very good moments.
Absolutely.
Some players that had really good performances and a lot to be excited about moving forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach,
that'll
very
wrap
much.
up winter sports. We're going to start now with spring sports. Let's take it live to Coach Braxton Ivory, GQ himself. We are joined now by Region 6 4A Track Coach of the Year, Coach Braxton Ivory. Coach, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about your track season. Give us like 2 phrases to sum up your track season.
Boys region champs. Had a couple kids go to state, which is always good.
Also won the city championship.
Oh, city championship as well.
That's a great season. That's a good sum up. I thought that Darius Holmes in the state championship, he finished second in the 110 high hurdles. He finished third in the 400, second in the 400, and then second in the 4x4. So a great performance by him. He actually earned all state honors in all 3 of those events. So very well done by Darius. Avion had a fantastic season as far as a field event. Charlie Mezik's name escaped me for a second. Charlie had a fantastic year on the track also. I thought it was really cool with the region meet. We ended up winning the region, even though we only won 3 events. So 3 out of 18, but I think they won every second place and third place, and so several events where we placed all over the place. Talk to us about your awards for this year. Talk to us about the overall track MVP. Who you got?
My overall track MVP would be Darius Holmes.
Darius Holmes is a kid too. Tell us about his work ethic.
Very good kid. Came out from the beginning to the end of the whole season really locked in, and it's really something that he really wanted to do. He put in the work, and his times really improved. But you can see he actually went to state, all state honors for himself. But real good kid. He really put in the work this year, and it really showed. He showcased his talent.
It seemed like he kind of shined the brightest when the lights were on too. I was reading at the region meet, at lower state qualifier, and at the state meet, he cut time every time. I think his best time of the year was at state championship. So, job well done. Field MVP, who you got?
Avion McBride, the winner in the triple jump, qualified for long and high jump as well. Unfortunately, he didn't go to lower state. He had some other things that had come up, but as far as field events wise, he always progressed and always got better during the year.
Won several meets this year. And your track MVP?
Track MVP goes to Charlie Mazik.
My favorite Charlie Mazik story of the year is he took the SAT here one day, the Saturday meet, came out, forgot his shoes. He wears like a size 12, wore somebody's 9.5s and won the 2 mile in a visible amount of pain. So good for him. Coach, one more award I want to talk to you about before I let you go. Our Teammate of the Year award is nominated by head coaches, voted on by myself and Mr. Dowdell. Terry McKithen was voted a Teammate of the Year. You also were an assistant basketball coach and assistant football coach. Tell us about Terry and his work ethic and why he's a good teammate. In our football session, Coach Jennerat classified coaches and who their wrestling personalities would be. If you were a professional wrestler, who do you think you would be?
Rey Mysterio, baby.
You know, that didn't even cross our mind, but that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So I respect that, 619. So very good. Anything else you want to add about track season?
That's a wrap, baby. Hey, next year, plan to get more kids to state.
See you then. Do you feel less cool after just watching something?
That's a lot to live up to.
It really is. Like, I hate going. Like, who wants to go after Coach Ivory?
Not me.
Whew. Thank you, Coach Ivory, Region 6 4A Track Coach of the Year. And let's now go to Coach Weidman, your women's track coach. Coach Rich Weidman. Coach, thanks for being here. No one's going to make any jokes about having a timer on the screen or anything. We're going to talk as long as we want. It's nice to be virtual because if they don't want to hear what you're saying, fast forward. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the little 2 triangles on the right. Let's jump into it. Tell us about track this year.
Oh man,
Girls track. Tell us about girls track.
So we had a great season this year. Undefeated during the regular season weekday meets. We were the PD Invitational champs. We finished 6th out of 16 at Cane Bay.
Big meet.
Big meet, yeah. 10th out of 20 at the CIU's Rams Invitational, which was another big meet at Columbia International. We were the Florence Darlington County meet champs. We were the city champs again. We were region runner-ups. At that we qualified 14. We qualified in 14 out of 18 events. For the,
I want to hold you up on that too. The region meet was heartbreaking because like through the first 17 events we're winning, and all of a sudden we like to lose by 6 points in a track meet is like losing by a last second free throw in a basketball game. That hurt, but I think the girls are going to be that much hungrier next year. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And that you're absolutely right. In that region, that 6 points was not any one place.
That's right.
It was 1 or 2 points here and there. Hoping we'd get first, we got second. Hoping for a third, we got fourth. That kind of stuff. So no one individual. So we were region runner-ups, and like I said, 14 out of 18 events we took to the lower state qualifier.
And one of those events we didn't have anybody. There was no pole vaulters.
And no triple jumpers.
That's
so
right.
2 of those events we did not compete with anybody. We'll have those filled next year. We ended up having a great lower state qualifier meet. Finished 3rd as a team at the lower state qualifier. Qualified for state in 6 events. Just missed qualifying in 3 other events, and this was kind of a strange year for qualifying for us. And then we were 18th at the state championship meet. Another big thing about our season this year, we had a lot of great success. We only had of our 38 members on our team, 27 of them were first year track athletes.
That's pretty strong.
We saw some really good stuff there.
Well, and the other part that's impressive about that is basically not having a track season last year. The year of development gone, obviously, but that's also a year of interest going by a lot of girls. So to have increased numbers is a testament to you. So job well done there. I'm going to talk to you before we get to your awards. I want to talk about my awards because we interviewed Coach Robinson a few minutes ago, and all of his girls won all these awards, but yours did too. So I want to talk to you about that. Talk to us about Mary Tyndall Parham being your academic award winner.
Mary Tyndall ran cross country for me, also ran track for me, and I've had the pleasure of having Mary Tyndall in the classroom as well. This young lady takes her academics very, very serious. So it is no surprise to see her be our academic. She was the academic for cross as well.
Absolutely.
Award winner. So
and by the way, was not close. She smoked everybody out of the water.
Really?
Yeah,
wow. I know we've got some smart kids.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
Smart girls.
No doubt. Let's go back to your cross country days during this year. Connor Bailey won our Lunch Pail Award for the men's side. I felt like Connor really brought his hard hat to work every day. Didn't complain, just showed up, did the work. Can you echo that?
Oh yeah, Connor, and I think I said this in the cross country interview, but Connor was the reason why I had such a successful transition into the program, and it's because of that work ethic. It's because he is that blue collar guy that shows up every day, ready to work, no complaints, no questions. And the other big part of that is his ability to get other guys to buy in.
Sure.
We really did miss him in track season this year, but I know he had some other things that he wanted to pursue, and he was even still he was
Came
there
to every track meet,
to a lot of our track meets, supporting, helping, moving hurdles.
That's right.
Yeah, moving hurdles, helping with whatever needed help with.
So Connor's going to be headed to Clemson in the fall. I won't hold that against him.
Neither will I.
He'll be successful there. The theme that I'm hearing is a lot of good kids are on the track program,
yeah.
So that's great. Let's get to some of your award winners. Talk to us about the field MVP. We talked about her before, but I'm sure you got some good stuff to say.
This is a
big shocker here.
Yeah, there's not going to be any shocks. Darcy Dawson.
Check.
She's our field MVP. Listen to these stats. 10 meets this year, she finished first in the disc. 7 meets this year, she finished first in the shot.
First is good for those of you guys who keep the track at home.
She's a region champ in the shot and disc. She finished 4th place in the shot put and 4th place in the discus at the state meet. She was the 3rd best discus thrower in 4A this year with her distance of 116 feet 8 inches and 13th best against all the classifications. I mean, we're talking hundreds of girls throwing the disc out there. She set a new discus record this year of that 116 feet 8 inches. She did that at the Columbia International meet.
She broke it 3 times in 1 week this year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. She has first,
twice
second,
in 1 meet.
Yeah, first, second, and third best throws in school history happened in 7 days.
She is the second best shot putter in West Florence history, and she had a PR at the state meet of 35-11.5 to do that. Like he said a little bit ago, she signed a letter of intent to compete for Columbia College, and she's going to be throwing for them. Looking forward to that. She's a fantastic student in the classroom, honor roll student, and she's also, like we talked about, a multi-sport athlete.
She's about, I think she's around the 4.5 range, 4.6 range. Just a tremendous student. Talk to us about your track MVP.
Well,
also impressive stats, I'm guessing.
Yes, impressive stats, and what's crazy is that the field MVP, the track MVP, and our overall team MVP, the stats are ridiculous, and it was very difficult to choose. But there was just
this is all by numbers, though, right?
Yeah, we look at numbers. So our track MVP, and it's gonna be a dead giveaway when I say some of these stats. It's Aisha Patterson, 8 meets.
Yeah.
She finished first in the 100-meter dash. 5 meets she finished first. 5 meets she finished second in the 200-meter dash. She was our region champ in the 100-meter dash. She's a member of our girls 4x100-meter relay that were the lower state champs.
Correct.
She is the 4th fastest 100-meter dash runner in West Florence history, the 3rd fastest 200-meter dash in West Florence history. And she did some really top-notch quality up there with India Brown,
India Brown,
Lauren Ellis,
Lauren
Megan
Cook,
Gordon.
yeah.
She's in there with some really good quality.
That's high praise.
Yeah. She qualified for state in the 200-meter dash and finished 6th. And she was the 5th fastest 100-meter dasher in 4A this season, and she missed qualifying by state. Again, qualifying was really, really strange this year. She missed qualifying for state by 1/100th, 0.01
ridiculous
of a second. So again, a fantastic student. I'm not
Scholar
sure.
Athlete Award, yeah. She and Darcy Scholar Athlete Award last night. So that's awesome.
And she signed a letter of intent. She's going to be running for Allen University next year.
That's right.
She had several offers.
All right, talk to us about your MVP of the track team.
All right, our girls team MVP this year, and again, it was just minor things that separated. All these girls were MVPs, and we had. Before I talk about her, there's so many other girls that I can talk about.
Yeah. This is the time.
Wow, I mean, we had some girls that were just on the outside. I mean, our all-around girl that does whatever we ask her to, Cassie Hitch. High jump, long jump, or triple jump.
Yeah. 400.
400, 800, 1600. Missy Hodges, Jordan Perry. I know she had won a basketball award. Man, she came in and ended up having a great
First-year track runner.
First-year track runner, and did great. Her sister, of course, McKinley. Another one, Missy Hodges. I could go on and on. Katie Driggers set a school record for us in the javelin. Yep. So many girls. I could go on and on. Our girls team MVP this year. Listen to this: 8 first place finishes in the 100-meter hurdles.
Okay.
6 first place finishes in the 400-meter hurdles. 2 first place finishes in the 300-meter hurdles. She was a region champ in the 100-meter hurdles and the 400-meter hurdles. She's a member of our girls 4x100-meter relay that were lower state champs. She's a member of our girls 4x400-meter relay that just missed going to state. And they also they were able to compete in the Bob Jenkins Coaches Classic Elite Meet, which is kind of a big deal. You had to be invited. She was a state qualifier in the 100-meter hurdles, finishing 8th. And she was a state qualifier in the 400-meter hurdles, finishing 7th. Honor roll student again, big academics, and she's also a multi-sport athlete, volleyball and track. Again, Michaela Hayes is our 2021 team MVP.
I think Michaela Hayes was responsible for 28 points by herself at the region championship meet.
Yes, sir.
She was they give an athlete of the year award in region, and she lost by 1 point as a junior, lost to a senior. Hopefully she'll come for that next year. Just a tremendous season. She's another one that just shows up, does the work every day.
Yes, very good.
And 9 times out of 10 has a smile on her face about it.
Yep.
So a lot to be said for that. We like those kind of athletes. Her brother came through here a few years ago, was the same way. So a great work ethic in that family. And kudos to you, Michaela Hayes. Coach, you got anything you want to add about track season?
Hey, just hope to see a bunch of you guys back out next year, and we're looking to build, and we want to win the region. And again, it's all about getting these kids to the next level, getting them some rings. We don't want to just be best around here. We want to be
No doubt.
best in the state.
No doubt. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Coach Wyman's team fell a little bit short of that region championship, but again, a lot coming back next year.
I was going to say, and you see this continually growing.
And the numbers have tracked. Just if we had it at one point, at our earliest one, we had more than like 95 people.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's a lot. Let's go to Coach Jason Brewer now with golf. We are now joined by Coach Brewer. Coach Brewer, it's good to have you in the office today.
Thank you very much.
It's not every day you get to come in, so it's nice we've gotten to hang out and talk a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We had a fun golf season.
We did.
Give us some highlights.
So probably the biggest highlight was a couple of victories against South at the end of the season. We had a so-so season right around 500. There were a few good teams in the region, and South was one of those, but we finished off the season with two, not even really close wins.
Strong performances, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the best part of it.
Strong performances.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about at the region meet. That was at North Myrtle Beach at Eagles Nest. Is that right?
Correct.
I believe Jack had a fantastic day. Finished as the runner-up to the medalist. Drew Flynn swung hard enough to do something unbelievable to his back. You can kind of hear it. I don't know if if that'll pick up on the iPad we're filming with, but a fun day. Talk to us about your all-region performers.
I will. So Jack Seward was our all-region player. Like Coach said, he easily finished as the runner-up. Just a few shots here or there. Next thing you know,
I believe he shot a 76.
Yeah, right? And 75 was player of the year. So
that's right.
One tournament kind of depends on that. So he had a solid day. Every golfer walks off the golf course saying I could have been 3 or 4 better, and that was the case. But good for him. So he was definitely our easiest.
All right, and then Jack went on to compete at Lower State, and then qualified there to play the state championship.
He did. So Jack put in some really good work. The pressure is pretty big at state. He handled it great. The first round wasn't as good as the second round. The second round was super consistent.
I think he started off like 13 pars, something like that.
13 pars in a row. 2 mysterious double bogeys popped up out of nowhere, and a really good birdie on the last. That was about 4 inches for being an eagle on the last. So really good. Good stuff.
Talk to us about your 2 seniors this year.
So 2 seniors, Kevin Goodwin and Chapman White. Sadly, with the cancellation of last season, Chapman didn't get much experience.
He got 1 tournament, maybe.
Got 1 tournament and 1 match coming in.
Yeah.
Kevin played the year before, and I'm glad to have both his kids on the team. Like I said during the recognition night, they're both super kids. Yes, sir, is in the vocabulary, and I appreciate everything that they did for us.
And doing little things right on the golf course, like wearing the right stuff, having your shirt tucked in, that kind of some etiquette things. So a lot of growth there.
Yep.
Did a good job. Brewer, talk to us about your academic athlete of the year.
Our academic athlete of the year is Lawson McFall. He has an outstanding GPA over 5, and you can tell the wheels are turning in his head. He's an interesting kid, and he's only a freshman.
I think it benefits me on the golf course to not be as smart, because I don't know enough and I don't think enough. I just go out there.
There are times when you can just clear your head and hit the ball, and you're better off. But sometimes you do get it.
That's right. He certainly has that ability.
He does.
Talk to us about your most improved award.
Our most improved goes to a freshman named Drew Flynn. Drew has been with me since 7th grade. Again, he missed out a season last year, but he had the most experience coming into this year as a freshman, which is really unusual.
It's rare.
Yeah, he played for us a lot his 7th grade year. He also grew about 1.5 feet.
I was going to say, I'm not sure what's in the water at their house.
That is not an exaggeration.
Yeah, he got enormous.
He had to relearn golf. He had to get new golf clubs, and I don't know if he's done growing. So he just came a long way. And
he's probably up to 6 feet by now. I mean, he's at least 6 feet. And
in 7th grade, he was about 4'9".
Oh, if that, he was tiny. Like when I saw him, he's like, I'm Drew Flynn. I was like, no, you're not Drew. But that's cool. And he had a great year too. He had some very good scores.
He did. He became really consistent the last half of the season for sure. Golf is not an easy thing to master, and when you've grown that much, it's a big deal. So really proud of Drew for all the changes he made to his game and how he became Mr. Consistent at the end of the season.
Very cool.
Yes.
Talk to us about MVP.
So MVP is pretty much a no-brainer. Jack Seward is our MVP. As a sophomore, he was a medalist, I think, on 4 or 5 occasions.
I think it was 5 is what I counted.
5, yeah, which is nearly half the matches. He was in the 30s pretty much all the time. He had a couple rounds outside the 30s, but clearly he was our best player. He shot in the 70s in all of our tournaments. He did really well in the Stableford tournament that we hosted. He did well at Lower State. Was in command of his game the whole way around, and there's no doubt that.
I think he shot 76 at Lower State. Does that sound right?
Yep. Jack is our MVP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jack, congratulations. Coach Brewer, congrats on another season.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
No. Just looking forward to next year for sure. Got a couple returners, got a couple spots open, and I'm ready.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
A pretty good season for the golf team.
Yeah, they did a good
Jack
job.
Seward played in the state championship. He was very disappointed that he shot a 75 on day 2. I think he had like 13 pars in a row, then had 2 bad holes, and it was like 75.
What do you do when you shoot a 75?
I wouldn't know. I've had 75s on the front before.
Me neither.
75 was like
great job.
If I can shoot 75 on 13 holes, tremendous day for me.
Yeah.
Tremendous day for me. But I'm
Absolutely.
having fun. Let's go to Coach Coker again with a report on tennis for this year.
Coach Coker, welcome back. We're now going to talk about men's tennis season.
All right.
This was a very unique men's tennis season at West Florence, one where you were forced to rebuild a little bit.
Well, that's the understatement of the year after losing 9 seniors.
I was going to say 9 seniors, and I think that at the top of your lineup last year before COVID hit, you had Hale, Wyatt, David. Hale, I think, finished his high school tennis career with less than 5 losses, maybe.
Right.
Does that sound right? Wyatt, same thing. David, same thing. Had a really good shot to go a long way last year. COVID kind of cut that short.
And 5 out of the 7 top players graduated last year.
That's right. So some kids in some new roles. I don't want to take your glory. You talk about it.
All right, this year was a lot different, and it was a building season. But they exceeded expectations, especially my expectations. I wanted to see that growth in them, and by the end of the season, you saw a lot of potential to build on, and the growth that they went through this year. We finished the season 7-7, which may not be a stellar record to some,
thrilled to death with
but I was thrilled
Yeah.
because considering we started the season 1-5. So I mean, it really was a turnaround for us, and these young men should be commended for their
Absolutely.
heart, their effort, and all the work that they put into this year's season.
Agree 1,000%. Talk to us about some of your awards. Talk to us about your Coach's Award this year.
Coach's Award goes to a young guy. He is steady. He's going to play his type of tennis, and he's going to force you to play his type of tennis. And he would start the match, usually one of the first ones to start his match, but he was usually one of the last ones to finish his match.
A lot of third set tiebreakers.
I cannot imagine how many third set tiebreakers, and he won most of them. This year's Coach's Award goes to Talon Cannon.
Very, very well deserved.
Very deserved.
Super kid, got a bright future. Talk to us about the Golden Racket Award.
All right, the Golden Racket Award, we decided that this young man was kind of put into a role where he was going to have to take on the toughest opponents. This award goes to J.R. Dawkins, and J.R. is a 8th grader at Snead who ended up being our #1 player here at the high school on a varsity level. And he ended up playing all the top tier players from the region and non-region. And sometimes he got overpowered because of his size and his age. But he never backed down, never wavered. He's not scared of anybody. This year, the Golden Racket goes to J.R. Dawkins, and it deserved it.
So also want to add the 2 kids that have won awards so far, JR and Talon Cannon, both all-region performers this year.
That is correct.
So props to them as well.
Awesome
You got
job.
1 award left. Tell us about it. Who's your night award winner?
All right, night award goes to a guy that he could have folded and said, I've had my good days with West Florence tennis. But no, he was my lone senior. Ben Richburg is the night award, and he came back to us knowing this year was a rebuilding year, and he helped guide some of these young players and mentor some of them.
Sure.
He went through some problems of his own, some injuries of his own this season, and but he was at every practice. He was at the match, whether he could play or not. So this year's night award is definitely going, a deserving person, Ben.
Benjamin Richburg. What a cool way to end your tennis career. And Coach, an exciting year and a lot to look forward to about the future of the program.
I look forward to it. We actually have, in the last 2 years, even though it was cut short last year, we've had a JV program. Coach Devlin has done a great job with those young men, and it builds for the future, and we're hoping to continue the varsity and JV programs, in the upcoming years.
All right.
We're back. Coach Coker, I think, might have done the most impressive work. His record was 7-7 at the end of the tennis season, but with a lot of dudes that have never played as high on the ladder as they played this year.
Yeah.
So a job very well done.
And
that
continually getting better.
Will get a lot better.
Yes.
Let's go now to Coach Alex Shortall. Let's talk about girls soccer a little more.
Coach Shortall, welcome. I feel like your nerves are way up here. It's just conversation. Don't be nervous. Same thing you tell your student athletes. Tell us about soccer season this year. Highlights, lowlights.
Well, we finished second place in our preseason tournament. We had an 11-5 overall record that included the preseason tournament. We got to the second round of the playoffs. We beat the technically previous state champion.
Defending state champion?
Yeah, defending state champion in South Aiken. They were the last ones to win a state championship before this year. We beat them to get to the second round. We only gave up 14 goals this season and scored 61. So that was very
pretty
good.
big stat.
We had
Talk to us about, it was a different year as far as playing in different locations. Tell us about that. And the reason I want to talk about it is just so we'll look back at this one day and laugh about it.
Well, we started off playing our home games at the Florence Soccer Complex. That field was fine. We got to play under the lights.
That field was fine.
That field was
it's like the nicest soccer facility in a 100-mile radius.
Wait, hold on. That field was fine. What I'm getting to is that we had to play some games over at Freedom Florence.
Yeah.
That field was not fine.
It was tight.
That was very small. It was very difficult to play on that, but we did win all of our games on that field. We were the first team to get to play here on campus on the turf.
Like ever?
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. First team to ever play in the new stadium.
Couldn't play
That was
Myrtle
awesome.
Beach. We lost 2-1.
No, it was 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah, it was a very, very close game. We played very well. Myrtle Beach did end up winning the region, but we put up a good fight against them. So
Absolutely.
I was very, very happy with how we played to break in the new stadium.
That was Coach Shortall. Talk to us. You know the emphasis that we place on academics here. We talked about our 4.2 GPA, all that kind of stuff for the program. About your girls soccer team, which was phenomenal in the classroom. Talk to us about kind of the leader who wins your academic award.
Anya Bergfeld is our soccer scholar, as I like to call it. She is the
Catchy name. Wish I had thought of that.
That's a go. Soccer scholar. Anya Bergfeld. She is in National Honor Society, Bay Club, all these academic clubs.
She was also recognized last night as like an early college. What's it? Early honors.
Yeah.
Early college scholar or something like that. Like 10 times. Yeah.
By multiple colleges. So she's looked out for academics for college, but she's also a super athlete. So she will next year have a tough decision to make on where to go to college because of her academics and her athletic ability.
Good problem to have, right?
That's a fantastic problem to have.
Anya, a fantastic student, well over a 5.0, so good for her. You had so many all-region selections. Your list different than my list, so let's play a game. I'm going to say the name, and you say like maybe 3 words to describe their play. Does that sound good? Well, if you have less kids on the All-Star team, sorry to frustrate you. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ashley Klukerich. One of your words. You got 2 more.
Goal scorer.
That's 1 word technically. Go ahead.
No, goal
That's
scorer.
1 phrase. Go ahead.
Okay.
What else you got? Anything else?
Power.
Power. I like that. All right. Reeve Barnes Young.
Defender. Anchor. Leader.
Leader. Like that. All right. We got Anya Bergfeld. You can't use scholar athlete.
Stud. Brick wall. Is that 2 words or 1?
That's enough. That's enough words. Talk about Nora Abbott.
Nora Abbott. Phenomenal. Great player. She's only a freshman, but I can't keep talking to her. Only a freshman, but she has a bright future.
As a freshman, she received a lot of votes for the Region Player of the Year.
She did as well.
Pretty strong. Riley Darr.
Small but mighty.
Compact.
Yes.
Yeah. Quick.
Yeah. Powerful again.
Like that. All right.
Emma O'Malley.
Technical, very good on the ball.
I wouldn't have said that word, but I like it.
Technical, very good on. That's a soccer term. Very good on the ball. She reads the game really well.
Kennedy Flowers.
Reads the game well again. Doesn't let anything pass her. She cuts off the angles.
Olivia Gibson.
Distributor. Good on the ball. Good touch.
That's good. That works for me. Those are all great.
It's hard to compact these words into.
Well, and it's pretty cool that you had so many players that were recognized as being worthy. I want to go back to Emma O'Malley because she probably provided one of the highlights of the season, maybe of your career. So I'll set the tone. We are playing South Aiken, the defending state champions, in the first round of the playoffs, which was really the round of 16. So in a normal year, the second round of the playoffs, we're at their place. Instead of playing overtime, we go to playoff overtime. So instead of 2 5s, we play 2 10s, and then we go to golden goal. So
which is sudden death for those of you that don't know.
That's right. So we have a corner kick.
Corner kick. Emma O'Malley hasn't taken a corner kick all season, and we were very tired, to say the least. And
you played like 100 minutes already.
It was 112 minutes at this point, and she was the one closest to the ball. So I was just like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? So she was like, me? And I was like, yeah, you can go ahead.
Emma wouldn't question.
Go ahead. Yeah. And so she was wondering why she was taking it. And I was just like, let's go. And the ref told her she had to kick it. So she kicked it, and she was so tired, she miskicked it. And it was the best miss hit of her entire career because it went this way when it was supposed to go this way, went right through the goalie's hands and into the goal, and we won the game.
Perspective is different. I would say, as a promoter of the program, maybe she didn't do it on purpose, and maybe you're.
Ask her if she did on purpose.
Maybe you should have had her kicking corners all year. I'm just saying. So that was a very cool moment.
That was awesome.
Very cool moment.
That was fantastic.
One last all-region, Julia Klein.
Julia Klein. Played all over the field.
Did she play every position this year?
Except for goalie, yeah. But she could have played goalie if I needed her to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she played everywhere.
Julia Klein, also a 2-sport all-region athlete after golf season. All right, Coach Shortall, we've gone through my awards. Let's get to your awards now. Let's start off with the Coaches Award.
Coaches Award is our goalkeeper, Anya Bergfeld. She is the best goalie in the region. Other coaches have said that, and she deserved to win an award, so I gave her the Coaches Award.
I like your explanation. We'll stick with it. Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year is Reeve Barnes-Young. As I mentioned before, she was the captain of the team. She was the captain of the defense. She was the leader back there. She anchored us down on defense.
She's pretty tough, too. She had one of those
very
moments
tough
this year. Like
very tough.
One of those Home Alone 2 at the bottom of the steps.
Broken nose. She ended up playing the end of the season with a broken nose before she had surgery on it. So yeah, that's pretty tough.
Grit. All right, talk to us about your Offensive Player of the Year.
All right, Offensive Player of the Year. That one's tough for me to decide because of how many goals we scored this year.
What a flex.
Yeah, we
so many.
We scored a lot of goals. Could have gone to a few people, but I ultimately went with the one who scored what I would say were clutch goals. When we needed goals scored, she would score them. Julia Klein is the Offensive Player of the Year. She also played other positions, so the fact that she scored so many goals was impressive.
Absolutely. Talk to us about your MVP of the 2021.
MVP. The MVP, again, everyone had a good role on the team, so picking an MVP, everyone had value, so the most valuable was very difficult to pick, but I decided to go with the one who I feel like made the biggest impact. As soon as she became a player on the team, she made a big impact, and that's freshman Nora Hackett.
Congratulations to Nora. Coach Shortall, let's go through some JV awards.
All right.
Your JV Coaches Award.
JV Coaches Award, that would be sophomore Sydney Gomez-Coelho.
Gomez-Coelho, that's correct. I love that pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
You corrected me on that every time, and now I've gotten it. So congratulations to Sydney, a good season. And talk to us about your JV MVP.
JV MVP is an 8th grader, Sarah Cashin.
Very good season. She scored like a million goals.
And she played injured for a portion of the season. So the fact that she scored all those goals while being injured is very impressive.
That JV team finished 11-2, is that right?
Yes, 11-2 on the season.
The ratio.
One of the losses was to Dutch Fork.
No shame in that.
Yeah, no shame in that. So yeah, and they were the best JV team in the region. So,
for sure.
Region champions for JV.
Also, I think they finished 11-2. Great season for Coach Walker and company. Coach, you got anything else to add about soccer season?
No, I think we're good.
Got it. Thank you. What do you think?
He always does a fantastic job.
Also, like,
he's the attention to detail guy.
He is a detail guy down to the nth degree. He does a really good job. And now, I don't feel worthy to introduce this guy. I just, I'm not. Let's hear from the future Hall of Famer, Billy Andrews. We're joined now by Coach Billy Andrews, the future Hall of Famer. Coach, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a weird way to do an awards night, but here's where we are. Hopefully next year we're back to normal. I've had a lot of complaints going, why aren't we doing an in-person award show? You got almost 600 athletes bringing 4 people. That's a lot of people in one room. So
right.
I would rather do it this way this year just to make sure we're safe. But you had a lot to celebrate this year.
Sure did.
Let's talk about it. You tell us about the season.
The season was great. We came in third in our region. We ended up with a record of 11-7, and we were blessed to be able to play that many games in this kind of pandemic year.
Well said.
And then on top of it, to win my 600 game, which was in Columbia against a top-rated team named Spring Branch.
So here's what I think people are just what I'm curious about. How do you keep yourself interested, and is it still a lot of fun to prep and to prepare your team and go out and do it 600 times?
It becomes so habit forming,
It's part of who you are.
It's part of my life right now, everybody asks me, how long are you gonna keep doing this? I say, hey, I keep doing it as long as my health holds up.
Well, and I'm asking for a friend here. This has nothing to do with me or my sweet and perfect wife. She must be pretty patient to put up with you for coaching that long.
Very patient, very patient. And my son, and my grandchildren, all of them.
It's pretty neat though. They can come out and see that. I said earlier when we talked about this, me and Mr. Dowdell, we talked about you've been doing this longer than both of us have been alive.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool, man. That's
21.
I'm almost 22, so don't hold that against me. So let's talk about some of your players this year. You were very fortunate to have some very good players.
Yes, and then they came through the system. They came up through Florence, different soccer association. They had different coaches. When you get them, you get the baggage with them. That comes with them when they travel ball and all that. And it can be kind of hectic sometimes. You have to have a lot of patience with these kids nowadays. It's a whole different kind of type of kid these days that you coach.
Soccer's a little different too, in that their club to them is just as important as the high school ball.
Exactly.
And so that's been a unique challenge for me coming in and kind of learning that.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about some. And I want to go one thing you mentioned. You said we finished third in our region.
Yes.
This again, and we said this maybe 4 times on this show. Region 6 4A is unbelievable.
It is.
And football, baseball, basketball, but boys soccer was no exception. I think Myrtle Beach ran the table, went 12-0. North Myrtle Beach went 10-2. I think we were right behind them at like 8-4 maybe in the region, something like that. But then after we finished region play, we played Region 6 5A champion Socastee and beat them like 4-1.
Yes.
It's an unbelievable region that we play in. That's a lot to be proud of. All right, let's talk about some all-region selections. Who'd you have?
Well, we had several players to make all-region, and all-region players this year went to we had first team all-region. Okay, It was Jack Kitchens.
Yep.
Who's outstanding, and Josh
Jack scored a lot of goals this year.
Oh, sure did. 20,
a lot of goals.
And had some assists to go along with it, which is important also.
Josh Walton also on that first team all-region.
Yes.
I told Josh and I have gotten kind of tight. He comes in and speaks every day to me now, and I told Josh I was as proud of his character development and his leadership growth as I was in his play on the field. I thought he's grown up a lot.
He has grown up from last year to this year. He even has grown up from the beginning of the season to
I agree 100%.
Season,
I agree 100%.
And Jack is just so quiet, and he's so easygoing, and you wouldn't believe that. He's just a team player.
That's right. And a big tribute to Jack, something he's done as well as anybody in our program. Jack has really bought into the weight room. He looks like the Incredible Hulk on the soccer field.
He does.
Quads everywhere. We also had 4 people make the second team.
Sure did, and these are all so great players.
No doubt.
And they're going to be good. We had a sophomore to make it, Floyd Goodstein.
Yep.
And we had.
Floyd scored a lot of goals this year.
Floyd had some outstanding shots, some outstanding goals this year. Drew Shaw. And Drew could play any position. He could play forward, he could play midfield, he could play defender. He probably could play keeper if we really needed him. And then there's Jackson Gibson. Boy, he's the steady man in the whole group.
Sure.
He's always conscious of what's going on out there on the field. He's a leader. At practice, I can put him in charge and he can take over. Okay. And then there's another young man named Zach Wade. He's been in our goalkeeper for the last couple of years. and the competition at that position was
pretty good, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And he really beat out a great guy at that position. But he was also named to the second team all region in our region.
Very deserving, all those all-region athletes. We also won a city championship this year, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
One of 11 programs this year to win a city championship, so nothing to scoff at. You've got 3 big awards to give out. Tell us who your defensive player of the year is.
Well, I just talked about him. He was steady all season. He saved many games for us during the year. He's been clutch in that position. He was always encouraging his teammates during the game, at practice, all the time. He was very outspoken. You have to be that kind of person in that position. And that person I'm talking about is Zach Way.
Zach Way, your defensive player of the year. So congratulations to Zach. Talk to us about the offensive player of the year.
Well, again, this person made all region. This person, as I said before, steady all the time. He's improving every year. Matter of fact, he was one of ninth grader. He was one of those outstanding players at that time. He's just a junior. He's our leading scorer on the team. He's constantly putting pressure on the opposing team defenses. He's unselfish, and he knows how to exploit the other team's weakness. He also does well in the passing game, and that person is Jack Kitchens.
Jack Kitchens, congratulations. All right, MVP.
MVP, again, this person, I love him. I love his family. Known them since the 8th grade. I taught his sisters, and they were soccer players in Jackson. He fought through 1 year in which he had torn ACL.
That's right, I forgot about that.
And he has a very good knowledge of the game. He has experience as a leader. He's one of the most consistent contributors to the team's success on and off the field. He always fights for possession of that ball, and the reason he won the MVP this year is because of his attitude, his dedication, and his sportsmanship. And that person is Jackson Gibson.
Jackson Gibson, very, very deserving. You had a bunch of really, really good kids on your team, between the Gibsons and the Spence brothers, and the list kind of goes on and on. Coach Andrews, your boys' soccer team this year, for the first time ever, someone has dethroned the women's tennis team as the top academic team. So you had 6 players over a 5.0.
Wow.
So incredible GPAs. You only had 1 person in the 3s, which is absurd. So the highest on that, your academic award winner, Mr. Robert Spence with a 5.36. Talk about Robert, what he means to the team as a player and as a student athlete.
Well, let me tell you what, Robert this year, we missed him. He had to sit out the entire season. During club ball, he tore his ACL, and he's been recuperating, and he was so anxious to get back on that field. But I told him he has a scholarship to Coker, and we cannot blow that scholarship.
No doubt.
But he did get in the game for a few minutes at the last game against South Florence.
I didn't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to avoid that.
Cut that out. I'm sorry.
But he was a tremendous teammate, despite not being on the field. He was coaching. He was always present, that kind of stuff.
He kept stats, and he was one of the leaders for us during that time period. Okay?
Well, Coach Andrews, I thank you. I congratulate you again.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
I want to thank all the parents. I want to thank Miss Spence.
Holy smokes, Celeste
Spence.
You're going to miss her next year, I'm sure.
Yes. I want to thank Alex Holbrooks, our trainer. I want to thank you, Coach Johnson. I want to thank Mr. Dardell. And I do want to thank Dr. O'Malley, because Dr. O'Malley really supported all of athletics.
Also, I'm not sure, speaking of that, I'm not sure if you heard or not, next year the stadium will be done.
Well, I think,
have you seen the construction going on here? It's pretty sweet. It was pretty cool for you guys to play in the stadium, I imagine.
Yes, it was. It was great.
Where'd you play the first West Florence soccer game?
First West Florence soccer game was played on that bottom field down there.
Was it really down here?
Yeah.
In the Memorial Stadium?
In the Memorial
And
Stadium.
then the old JV Stadium was built like early 2000s, I guess. So.
Yeah. And then we played everywhere this year. We played at Freedom Florence.
We played at Freedom Florence. We played at Memorial Stadium. We played at the Florence Soccer Complex.
And we fought through a pandemic, which was fantastic.
Right. That's right. We got through it. The most tiring soccer season of our careers.
Exactly.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Congratulations again. See you this time next year.
I hope you hire me back.
A lot to celebrate with boys soccer.
He's always so laid back too.
Listen, Coach Andrews' blood pressure is pretty low.
Yeah.
It is pretty low. He's a pretty chill guy. So excited to have him. Let's go now to Coach Andreas Perkins, talk about softball.
Absolutely.
Coach Perkins, thank you for joining us. I know we've been practicing this a few times now, so you're ready,
yes,
right?
Hopefully we can get through with no stumbles.
Talk to us about softball season. Highlights, lowlights, what do you got?
Oh man, great season. We started off hot, extremely hot, and then we kind of hit a bump in the road, so to speak, and then we finished up strong against South Florence, and those were some of the best softball that we played. We made it through a long
long COVID season, all the COVID checks and necessary stuff. I'm proud to say, and one scare. We had one scare, but proud to
Just
say,
a scare, though.
just a scare.
Yeah.
But
we hadn't talked to you. I'm glad you prompted that. Have you seen the stack of check-in forms that we have from the year? Unbelievable.
Yes.
Before you go any further, I want to throw you 2 props. Number one, I think the highest compliment I can give you is I had to do absolutely nothing on the softball field this year. The bottom of the hill was taken care of. I appreciate that. I want everybody to know how much we appreciate that. Number 2, you might have the best assistant coaching staff in the school. You agree?
Oh Lord, wow, the best.
Best.
We'll take it.
Up here.
We'll take it.
Up here.
Yes, thank you, Coach Johnson.
A
for
really,
that compliment.
really good crew. Some passionate coaches.
Yes.
Keep going with your recap. You mentioned we played our best ball at the end versus South Florence.
Yes.
This region was absolutely tremendous.
Brutal.
Darlington's going to
brutal.
play for a state championship next week. South Florence was a really tough out in their district. Hartsville got COVID towards the end, right? But should have been in the playoffs deep. A very, very good region.
Yes.
But we still,
we played a lot of great softball. Take away a few errors here and there, and that could have very well.
You also probably had
been us.
the youngest team in the school. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I think you went sophomore at first base. You went 8th grader at second base, 9th grader at short, 9th grader at third, 8th grader at catcher, sometimes a 7th grader at pitcher, something like that. So
yeah, we did a lot of rotating, just trying to put a productive product out there on the field, and some of the girls had to learn to compete and had to deal with adversity and all that good stuff. But it's only going to make us stronger in the long run. So,
That's correct.
Very looking forward to the next season already, and I know the girls are excited. A lot of them are out playing their own rec ball and doing travel ball, getting better, and they're excited and ready to get back to work as well. So very, very proud of my softball program.
Talk to us a little bit about your all-region softball players.
All-region softball selections, we had 3, and then we had 2 honorable mentions. The first all-region softball player is Mia Boykin. Whoop, big ups.
Mia had a pretty good year.
She did. I think she was second in state in home runs.
True.
10. So she can definitely hit it a long way.
At what point, as a coach, if you're looking at the stats for the opposing team and you see this girl has X amount of home runs, you decide I'm not going to pitch to her because I would think it's below 10.
Yeah, and that's what teams they attempted to do that, but she had some great teammates in front of her and behind her and did their job getting on base, and they left them with no choice but to pitch to her. So.
She had one this year where she hit the feet of the center fielder on the baseball field, and that was he kind of looked back like.
And she can definitely swing.
The same expression.
The second all-region selection we had was Amar Burgess. Amar's awesome. She's played in the program 5 years.
100 years, yeah.
Oh gosh, gonna really miss her. She's a joy to be out there, a leader.
She'll be playing next year at USC Union. She's going to be a bantam.
She will.
She also made the North-South game this
Big
year.
ups.
That one of
Big
4
ups, Tater
athletes
Butter.
to
Yes,
make it.
1 of 4. So excited about that. And last but not least, Analia Cook made all region. Yes, Cook A. She actually led the team in batting average. She finished with 397 for the year. The entire season, 397.
Did she play every position on the field at some point in her career?
Everywhere but pitcher for me. So yes, she was. She's gonna be missed as well. First girl there, first one there, first one out. She just loves being out there and helping her teammates. Couldn't ask for a better teammate, a better person to coach. Really gonna miss her. Really gonna miss her.
Absolutely. She kind of set the tone too for a lot of teams. You know,
she did.
She's up here.
She did.
That was good.
And her blue hair. We're gonna miss her blue hair too.
Absolutely. A little streak in the back.
We also had 2 honorable mentions for all regions. It's all right. I'll bring it back. It's cool. Don't forget about them. 2 honorable mentions. One was Abigail Gibbs. She's an 8th grader. 8th grade catcher.
She's a catcher.
Yes. Expecting big things.
It's not often you see an 8th grader kind of run the defensive field.
No. She's a quiet leader. And last one was Summer Holland. She was my left fielder this year.
Summer Holland, she's a sophomore.
Yes,
very good season.
She's a sophomore.
She kind of slaps the ball around a little bit, can run a little bit. Good player. Good player. Talk to us. Allie Meeker won your academic award this year with a GPA that was just through the roof. Was a starting pitcher for a lot of the games.
Yes.
Good player. Very high GPA. Congratulations to Allie Meeker.
And she's also committed to Erskine.
Erskine, that's correct. She's got another year to play, though.
Yes, another year left to play. Early commit. Going to Erskine.
Very cool. Let's talk about your award winners. Let me find my sheet. Make sure I'm on the right page. Here we go. All right, your award winners. I'm going to prompt you these. You ready?
Okay.
Give us the Golden Glove Award.
Golden Glove Award for the varsity team is none other than Summer Holland. She only had one error the entire season, and her defensive fielding percentage was, I want to say, .985. So that is
For those of you
crazy.
that don't know, that's really good.
Yes, yes.
She was a left fielder.
She was like Golden Glove, left fielder.
Yeah. Talk to us about the Knight Award. No
Knight
surprise here.
Award here's a hard worker, unspoken leader of the team. Just you all around, do everything for you, help set up equipment, do the laundry, everything. It's like an assistant coach out there for us at times, and that is none other than Amar Burgess,
AKA
Tater Bird.
Tater. All right, MVP.
And without a question, this person was the backbone of our team this year, and we fed off of her energy. When she was up, we were up. Just couldn't say anything else about her. Finished second in state and home runs. So without further ado, Bia Boykin, our MVP.
Freshman, congratulations.
Freshman, yes.
Very
she's
cool.
a freshman.
Lots to look forward to in the softball program. Speaking of lots to look forward to, let's talk about most improved JV player.
Most improved JV player. So first year we had a lot of newbies.
Yeah.
A lot of newbies on the JV. They've never played before or
Not having a season
played,
last year.
Right. Missing that season or hadn't played rec ball or travel ball per se. But this person just came out here and just blew fire everywhere. Like she's got better every day.
Love that way of describing it.
Yes, just blue fire. And that is Anne Marie McCall. She's a middle schooler, so we're looking forward to good things from Anne Marie McCall, aka Am. Good job, Am. Proud of you.
All right, talk to us about the JV Night Award.
JV Night Award, same thing. This person here, you really can tell the effect of someone once you don't have them. She got injured, and oh boy, we just wasn't the same team without her. But her leadership on the field, just she's kind of like the seasoned veteran of the JV girls, and everyone just looked up to her and asked her, like she's telling girls what were expected, and how to deal with me. There's a lot of stuff going out there. It's like, hey, that's just Coach Perkins.
You said it.
Yeah, I did. But she kept everybody together. And that is Madison Strickland, our JV Night Award.
Congratulations, Madison. Last award, your JV MVP.
JV MVP.
Probably not a secret here either.
No, definitely not a secret. She was our stud pitcher, stud everything for her. She is going to be a phenomenal player, and just the way she was just pitching and hitting and everything. She just did everything so well for us that I had to bring her up to help us out when we stumbled a little bit on varsity. But a great player, great teammate.
She's still a puppy. Like
Yes,
she's young.
Yes. We're going to be young, and we're young, but we're talented. But without further ado, our JV MVP goes to Eddie Roof, Eliason.
Hey, Ruth.
Good job, baby.
They're not boos coming from the stands. They're Ruth.
Yes, they're Roofs. They're Roofs. She likes to go by Roof. So
I like that.
We love it.
I like that. Coach, congratulations on a great year. Anything else you want to add?
No. Yes.
Coach, thank you for your time. We look forward to this again next year in person.
Yes, in person. Go Knights.
Check. Do you find that Coach Perkins is always louder than us?
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. I'll watch a baseball game and I can hear him at softball.
Absolutely, unbelievable. He's a projector, if you will. He's got what we call a PE teacher voice.
Yeah.
So, well done.
The girls love him.
And now let's wrap it up. We're going to our last sport of the award show, baseball, and Coach Josh Brown. We are back. This is the last session we got to film, Coach Brown. I'm glad you can make it. And we have quite a lengthy video here, but I've said it in a couple sessions. If you don't want to see the baseball section, just keep fast forward. It should be this way, I guess. Keep fast forward. Coach Brown, it's good to have you on campus, man. It's been a while. Baseball ended a few weeks ago. A cool season, a lot to celebrate. We went, 17-6? Is that right?
I believe so.
18-5, something like that?
Yep.
We won the preseason tournament.
We did.
We beat South, kind of walk-off style in that last.
Yeah.
Down 6-0. Take it from there.
Great extra inning game. Finals of the preseason tournament, and went 8 innings. And I think Coleman Kelly had the big hit to put us up, and Matt Guerrero closed that game out, which was a fun game.
I was looking through stats getting ready for this. Coleman Kelly, which I've named Coleman Jelly, and it's kind of stuck around here. Coleman had 5 game-winning RBIs this year. That's rare to have in one season. That's a good career, much less a season. We also competed in the spring break tournament at Sherrall, lost in the finals there to South in the same similar I want to say we made a throw-in error to lose the game to them.
Same scenario. Finals of the tournament. Both teams played well, and they got us by 1. in that game where we got them by 1 in the first
That's
meeting.
right.
So
Pretty evenly matched. Now let's talk about Region 6 4A. We've mentioned it, I think, now in every session that we've done with these individual coaches interviews. A pretty good, pretty talented region.
Yes.
Cam Canarella from Hartsville was the not only Region Player of the Year, but the State Player of the Year. North Myrtle Beach had 2 pitchers committed to play Division I, one to Georgia Tech, one to Clemson. Is that right? Myrtle Beach had a kid going to Clemson on the pitcher's mound. Who else do we have?
Aiden Palmer from the South.
Aiden Palmer, the best pitcher in the region. A really, really good year for baseball. What stinks for us, and somebody asked me, how's the baseball season? I said, it's fantastic. Is you didn't make the playoffs. And I said, it's true, but not many years you win that many games and don't make the playoffs. We actually finished tied for second, but lost all the tiebreakers to the other teams. So missed out on the playoffs, but still a lot to celebrate that year. Any highlights for you? Like, something that'll stick out besides the COVID stuff?
Yeah, I mean, a good year in the region. It was tough from basically top to bottom there, facing quality arms every night. The Hartsville win was a big win here when we beat Hartsville.
Hartsville they were number 3, I want to say, in the state at that time.
Right.
North Myrtle Beach was in the top 5 when we beat them.
George Floyd pitched a really good game that night. We beat Myrtle Beach 2-1, 1-0. I think it was 1-0 here. We beat the Gordon kid that's going to Clemson.
And then beat them at their place 3-2 maybe?
Yep.
Something like that?
And we also beat North Myrtle Beach here in a good game also.
I think played in a majority of our wins, played really good defense.
Right.
And some of our losses had a few snafus, but pretty good defensive team, fundamentally speaking, all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about, before we get to your awards, I want to talk about your all academic athlete. So this is given to every sport, top performer GPA-wise in the classroom. You probably know who it is.
All right, Mac Pail, strong student, works hard in the classroom. He works very hard in the classroom, and it shows.
Mac had a little off-season surgery this year. Probably didn't get to play as much as he wanted to.
Right.
But now he's probably now that we're into almost June, he's probably getting up in his PT.
Yeah, I think Mac is.
I think he's starting to throw a little bit.
Yeah, he's ready to go this summer.
Mac's the kid that started last year for you as a freshman in the 6 games that we played at third base, and came back and DH'd a little bit for us towards the end this year. All right, we got to talk about your all-region baseball team.
All-region guys, we had 4 players make all-region. George Floyd, Ty Suggs, Coleman Kelly, and Josh Williams were our all-region players.
George Floyd, I think I read, pitched, was it 46 innings he pitched? 42?
Maybe more than that, probably.
He struck out 94? Does that sound right? Just an unbelievable strikeout to innings pitched ratio. He had an unbelievable record. Coleman Kelly batted .360 for the year.
Coleman was our leading hitter, led the team in average, led the team in hits, led the team in RBIs.
He had something like 30 base hits, something like that.
So,
an unbelievable
Coleman
year.
had a great year.
Josh Williams had a few home runs.
He did. Josh led the team with 5 home runs on the season. It was good for a high school season.
He hit the track building opposite field in one of the best balls I've seen hit here. We hadn't talked about this in person yet. We hadn't talked since baseball ended. The home run in the last game that Dylan Snyder hit. Have you ever seen one hit to right center that far?
I don't think
he hit the top of the softball scoreboard.
Yeah, by a right-handed hitter, that was quite a poke there by Dylan.
That was 370, 380 to right center. That was an incredibly well hit ball. Talk about Ty Suggs, what he meant to you defensively this year.
Yeah, Suggs played a phenomenal shortstop. He swung the bat really well. 3/4
Second on
of
the
the
team
year.
in average.
Yeah, I mean, Ty swung the bat in the 9-hole. Gave us some quality at bats in the 9-hole, which you don't usually get, but we did this year with Ty. But his defense was really good, solid all year up the middle.
I have in my notes that Ty batted .333 on the year. So if your 9-hole hitter is hitting .333, that's a lot. Let's talk about your awards. Let's give your JV awards out. Coach Cummings did a really good job with baseball this year on the JV team, not having a whole lot of assistant coaches, assistants, I guess is the best way to put it. His JV Coaches Award goes to the catcher, one of my favorite kids.
Wesley Cox.
Wesley Cox.
Yes, can't say enough about Wesley. Always 100% at practice. Great kid, works hard. Definitely deserves.
Shows up, doesn't complain, good attitude, and actually got a lot better as a hitter as the year went on. JV MVP, pretty simple one here.
Peyton Rogers, #1 pitcher there on JV, threw some varsity innings for us. Very solid on the mound. Peyton's got a bright future.
Let's talk about your varsity awards now. Let's get to your Coaches Award.
All right, Coaches Award will go to Jack Wilson. Going into the season, we had a little bit of a hole going in for catching. And Jack was supposed to be a JV player, but he stepped up and filled that varsity catcher role for us. And he worked extremely hard in the month of February to get ready. And he did a really solid job for a sophomore behind the plate.
I would say just, and I'm not studying the stat sheet. I would guess his steal percentage was pretty low against. He threw a lot of base runners out.
He did.
About halfway through the season, people stopped trying to steal bases on us.
Yeah.
Just
Control
a
the running
really
game.
good defensive player. Talk to us about the offensive player of the year. You probably know after talking already.
Yeah. Coleman Kelly certainly will get our offensive player. Like I said, he highest batting average, most hits on the team, a lot of game-winning hits, and led the team in RBIs.
Coleman was here. Here we go. MVP.
And then George Floyd gave us a chance to win every time he toes the rubber. He had a solid season offensively also. I think him and Coleman may have been tied for RBIs.
Yep.
And always George mans that center field and plays a great outfield for us.
George is also just a tough kid. I think before the last game here, he just took one in the rib cage and PP and just was sporting a big old bruise like that. But a tough kid. And coach, a good season, a lot to celebrate. I was reading highest number or most wins in like 4 or 5 years. So,
yeah,
a really good season, a lot to build on moving forward. So, anything else?
Nope. I'm just excited with the ones we got coming back next year, and hope to have an even better season.
Before we cut it, I want to congratulate you again. Big date coming up on June the 12th here. What's your flower preference for the wedding?
It doesn't matter. I just want to get it over with.
This is a man. This is a man that's ready to be married. He already understands. Good luck, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it.
A good baseball season. Like it's,
Thank you, Josh, for the hard work.
These kind of award ceremonies, I feel like sometimes when you're not very good, it's like let's get the awards done. But this is fun. It's a fun celebration. You and I last week at the award show we had for the Athlete of the Year. It's a lot more fun when you're winning.
Yeah.
So
thanks to our coaches and players for giving us that success.
Cut. So let's talk about we're through our sports. Mm-hmm. Now we want to recognize kind of our cream of the crop a little bit and kind of give some awards out that you and I talked about and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's talk Neville Fowles Memorial Scholarship. What I think is one of our top honors here at West Florence. I had the privilege of working with Coach Fowles in my first stint here. He would have very much appreciated both of these winners. Our female winner of the Neville Fowles Memorial Scholarship, Miss Lily Williams.
Congratulations.
Who loves West Florence more than Lily?
Her mom.
That's fair. Shout out to Miss Amy Williams.
Yes.
Lily, if there was a club, she was in it.
Yeah.
If there was a extracurricular, she was in it, and that's pretty cool. Our male winner this year, Matthew Guerrero. I say the same thing about Matthew. Very, very involved. Loved West Florence. Worked very hard to get.
Always
to
has
to
a
the
smile
end.
on his
Always
face,
has a smile.
which I love.
Super attitude. Coach Neville Fowles would have very much appreciated. 2 very deserving kids.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate this kid. I'm sure Matthew Guerrero represents everything that Neville would have appreciated.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yes. Matt, great team player. Works hard at practice all the time. Just does whatever's asked of him, and just a great teammate all around. Great kid.
Let's talk community service. You guys all know by now. In the last 3 years, more than 5,000 hours of community service. That's something we hang our hat on, as you would say, above and beyond.
That is absolutely
they're required. So we do a male and a female community service award every year. So why don't you tell us about our top female community service of the year winner?
I'd like to congratulate Madeline Attia. So Madeline Attia is a cheerleader, but she also plays golf on our girls' golf team. And
I would say she's a golfer that also is a cheerleader.
Yeah,
I've heard it both
in
ways.
fact, I like playing on the course, and I see her quite often.
Sure.
She's fantastic. But she started a new program called Mad About Golf, which gives golf lessons to the youth. And so she's giving back and inspiring young people to be able to play golf.
My daughter signed up for this summer.
Yeah, and you just, anytime that you're willing to dedicate your time to teach somebody a skill that you know, especially the youth, that is truly impressive. So.
She also, a few weekends ago, hosted just an enormous golf tournament out at Trace's. I think she had like 35 teams sign up for that to raise money and awareness. So a very cool thing by her. I want to talk about the boys winner for the award this year. Let's talk about the community service athlete of the year at West Florence. For the female side was Madeline Attia. And she's also a cheerleader. Tell us about Madeline.
She is a spunky little thing.
Spunky's a good word. I like that.
She got my award that I gave them at our little party. She got the Laugher Award. Because she's always laughing. She's happy.
She is.
She loves golf. She's an amazing golfer, and things she's doing for.
All region.
When you're going to do something, I tell them. My mama used to say, "Whatever you do in life, be good at it." And she has done that with cheer and with golf, and the community, teaching little kids how to play golf. And it's different. We are coming. I don't mean to step on toes, but we're coming out of a man's world where women are not doing as many things, and that doesn't seem to bother her.
Stepping on toes.
Well, it's, you know, thank you. It is the truth, but she doesn't seem to mind that she's a girl.
If you went
female
to a girls golf match, there's nobody stepping on toes there. They're just going out and swinging
They're
it,
good. And
really playing.
I'm very proud of her.
This year. One thing that we were disappointed in this year, and COVID took this from us, we couldn't do our Friday Readers program.
Yeah.
So we couldn't be in the buildings, but we prompted our guys to do. I asked the basketball team to all read one book.
Yep.
And send me a video, and we'd share it with all the elementary schools. Well, this one kid, he did 35 of those. And so what that kid did, he provided a library for elementary schools all over the district. They all have access to that, and that's 35 books for grades 3 and below that could be enjoyed. So Valerian Bruce, in addition to having a great basketball season, a very good track season, is our community service athlete of the year. So job very well done, Valerian. He's also like a classroom monster. Okay.
Yeah, Valerian is. Oh yeah, he is an all-around great kid, and I cannot
Super
wait
kid.
to see what he does in the future.
Super kid. Excited about next year.
Yeah.
All right. That's community service of the year.
One award, and you were the girls coach, but you also had a big hand in the boys too, and you guys are all kind of together down there. Valerian Bruce won our Community Service Athlete of the Year award this year. Valerian read I think he read 38 books on virtually, submitted it to us to give to elementary schools all over the district.
That might be more books than I've read in my life. No, I'm just kidding.
Coach Robin likes to read. That was an insight.
So Valerian is a fantastic young man with tons of leadership potential. So it is no surprise to me that
Announced last night he made Boys State too this year.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Very big
yes,
honor.
and he will do well at Boys State. Valerian, man, you know, we struggled this track season to find a place for him to be successful, and finally, you know, I got to give credit to his dad. He said, "Hey, can we try him in the hurdles?" We put him in the hurdles, and he ended up being
Finished fifth in the region.
Fifth in the region,
Yeah, by like .04 or something
and
like
ended
that.
up being a lower state being able to go to the lower state
That's right.
qualifier. He wasn't able to go because of a prior commitment and them telling us late. But man, Valerian is a fantastic young man.
That we gave out. Valerian Bruce is our Community Service Athlete of the Year, with good reason. I tasked you with asking all of your basketball players to read one book, submit one book. In my head, that's like 12 players. We got 12 books. Send it out to the elementary schools. Here's our Friday readers. And Valerian Bruce read 38 books on his own and submitted his own personal library. So I thought that was just unbelievably cool. I would send him, my wife would use his clips in her second grade classroom, and just, she would say, well, this kid's unbelievable at this. He could do this one day. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's the kind of kid Valerian is, to do something above and beyond what he's asked to
Sure.
do, just trying to be helpful and trying to be the right kind of kid. I know he serves, he volunteers at the hospital, and he does lots of things, and even as a player, he's the same kind of kid. How do I do this?
Very
better?
selfless player.
Yeah, how do I do this right? For us, he did a lot of the stuff that doesn't really show up. You need me to play the 3, you need me to play the 4, whatever you need me to do. I'll
He's
do
a
it.
minutes eater almost on the court.
It's really,
He can play anywhere and doesn't come off the court and knows every position.
Yeah, and glue guys and
Sure.
overused basketball term, but really that's what Valerian was.
Well said.
He can't do whatever you need him to do, and he's willing to do it, which is a lot of people.
Lots to be said for that.
One of my favorite awards, the Teammate of the Year award. We give this award. This is voted on by the head coaches. They say, here's my nomination. You and I sit down and decide these winners, who we think has the biggest impact. Doesn't necessarily need to be a star player, but needs to be somebody that kind of controls the climate, if you will. Tell us who the female winner of the year is.
Darcy Dawson.
Duh, of course it's Darcy
Could
Dawson.
not be a better candidate and a better winner.
Have you ever seen Darcy not smiling?
No.
She is.
Every time I call her name, she giggles.
She kind of lights up the room. And by the way, it's great to be a good teammate. She was also like dominant in shot and biscuits this year. Had a tremendous year. Signed yesterday to play with Columbia College. Moving forward, Darcy kind of lit up the entire track when she was there. So job well done.
Illustration. Tell us about what Darcy brought to the table besides throwing it 100,000 meters.
Darcy is an amazing young lady. She's a great student. She is, everybody talks about her infectious smile, and you can't be upset when she's around. Darcy really was a leader for our throwers, and I don't think Katie Driggers has the season that she had as a first-year track athlete without Darcy Dawson being her teammate.
Sure. And Darcy, by the way, going to be going to school for free next year. So
Absolutely.
good for her. Darcy Dawson, who played for you for several years,
Yes.
she was awarded by the administration and myself. She was the Teammate of the Year award.
Absolutely.
We felt like Darcy, in the track, kind of walked out, always smiling, happy to be here, brought her performance,
That's Dorsey.
brought her teammates' performance up. What did you see on the basketball court?
That's the same thing with Dorsey, man. The last 2 years, I was fortunate to coach Dorsey. The same thing you just explained, man. The warm smile. She was always there to kind of lift other teammates up. Whether the situation was good or bad, she was always there with a positive energy, positive smile. And that's one thing I really love about Dorsey, and that's why, she was able to.
Very deserving of the
Absolutely.
award. Our male teammates of the year. No introduction needed. It's Terry with the T. Terry with the T. Terry McKiffin. He is running back on the football team. He played basketball. He ran track. He did it all. I would say, without argument, if you go watch any of those events, it takes you about 30 seconds to notice Terry.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely.
I
He's
don't
gotten
know,
so much bigger,
I don't
too.
know how this started, but he is Terry with a T. Obviously, Terry starts with a T, but the T is for McKiffin because there's no C in it.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a nickname. It's stuck. My son calls him T now. It's one of those things. I personally am proud of the work that Terry's put into the classroom this year.
If we had a most achieving student
Absolutely,
of the year, it is
absolutely.
Terry as
No
well.
one has worked harder in the classroom than Terry McKissick
Very
this
proud
year.
of you.
No one's worked harder on the field, in the weight room, on the court, on the track. T and Darcy, job very well done. Talk to us about your teammate of the year, Terry McKiffin. Terry with a T, probably better known as, was your teammate of the year. He was nominated by several coaches that talked about how he was ultimate team player. West Florence comes first, that kind of thing. I'm sure you could echo that as well.
Yeah, I mean, just Terry, just with the yo-yo of a season, really never got into his groove until we were ready to go. Because we had to wait for football guys to finish,
That's right.
and then Terry came back, and then we had to stop, and then we came back, and really Terry was, probably had the best performances of the season.
Terry had a big night at North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, it's terrific, and really, because we missed June and because we missed some of the times to see those guys, that was really, my first chance to really see. What he did best, and was really looking forward to using him like that in the
I think
tournament.
somebody that nominated him wrote something, and I'm paraphrasing here. He loves West Florence athletics more than anybody else in the building, and I thought that was a cool thing to write about him because it's true. Because he, whether it was the high jump at track, Terry played corner for football. He went and played running back, and for basketball, he asked him to come off the bench, and he did a good job.
Yeah, and that's I think Terry, was so even keeled. Like I said, we talked about with Samaj. When things are going well, Terry's Terry. When things are going poorly, Terry's Terry.
Right.
And that's as a coach, that's really what you need.
In hindsight, your basketball team had a whole bunch of dudes that were just flatliners, man. Just absolute flatliners, like not much emotion. That's not a terrible thing. It's just a different thing.
No, and which will serve them well,
Sure.
as they move into next season. Because I really do. I mean, those guys are going to be good next year.
I sure hope so.
They're going to have a terrific season.
I sure hope so. Let's talk about one more award.
Terry always comes out and gives hard effort and hard work ethic. The only thing say going for Terry right now is he's always willing to win, and you always really see his other teammates win as well. So anything on a good note, he's always there. If anything's bad, he's always a pick me up guy. So you always can lean on Terry if you need anything or need help for anything.
All right, let's talk comeback player of the year. If you had a guess, who would it be?
I have someone coming to my mind. It would be Nidrea Bradley.
Nidrea Bradley is exactly right. Nidrea, as a sophomore basketball player, led the region in scoring. In Region 6-5A, had a tremendous year, and then about 10 minutes into her junior season of tryouts, tore her ACL. Had to have surgery. Didn't cry, didn't complain, didn't whine. She just went to work.
But also stayed committed to the team.
Absolutely, didn't miss a game. Was the best cheerleader we had. Was always like in her proper warm-ups. Did everything right. Was a leader from the bench. And this year, when she finally healed up, she wasn't 100% to start the season.
Yeah.
By the time we got a few games in, she got her legs underneath her, pun intended. She was really starting to play really, really well. Nidrea is working with a few schools right now, trying to find somewhere to play.
Yeah.
She's going to get a chance next week. So we're really excited. Nidrea also is another one of those student athletes that gets it done in the classroom. Yeah. So super proud of Nidrea, the comeback player of the year. All right, Skylar, kill it for a second.
We've
got a few awards left. Let's talk about Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
This was about a 13 millisecond decision. Took us very little time to decide. Tell them who it is.
Undefeated year.
Boom.
And his last year, which is actually sad.
Stinks.
But congratulations, Jeff Lee.
In the JV football team's last 20 games, they're 19-1.
Yeah.
Lot to be said for that. Coach Jeff Lee, no one poured into kids like he did.
And JV football is not easy. And people
Goodness,
don't understand.
no. Ugh.
They do not understand the
That's
commitment.
probably that's a lot. Asking
Yeah.
to be a JV football coach is a lot. The tolerance level that he has is significantly higher than mine. But Coach Lee not only did that with a smile, had a great time, and also won a lot of games. So Coach Lee, the West Florence High School Coach of the Year. This is the first year award. I've never done this award before, but I felt like it was very important. So much of what we do, and so much, we haven't mentioned our booster club yet, which is a mistake on our part. They are unreal. What they do for us is unreal. We literally would not exist without them. Miss Lacey, Hannah, and crew, tremendous. But this year we wanted to give a Parent of the Year award, and that's somebody who, this guy was so dominant that I've never even thought about this award, but for several sports, for cross country, for volleyball, for basketball, for track this year, this guy's showing up saying, "Hey, what can I do to help?"
Yeah, what do you need?
He did the flag for volleyball every single game this year.
Yeah.
Back when volleyball was happening, we had I don't know if you remember this or not. After every point, they had to wipe the balls down with the thing, roll it back. He did that. This guy volunteered to clean up the cross country course. Yeah. Same thing for track. Was there at every basketball game. Mr. Marshall Perry is our West Florence High School Parent of the Year, and thank you again.
You had a parent win Parent of the Year, and this parent was his parent twice for you. So you had Marshall Perry was a cross country parent and a track parent. Tell us what he did to help. Like, why is he getting this award?
Oh my gosh! So Marshall Perry. So we had a bunch of cleanup to do on the course for cross country, and
which, by the way, is here now on campus because of the work.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do still, but Marshall was there anytime I asked for help. With his mower, out in the woods mowing stuff, doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
And smiling the whole time.
Yeah, always smiling. Very, very supportive parents. But Marshall was great in so many different ways.
His wife Jessica, by the way, she's Jessica's also like one of those.
Oh yeah,
she'll be in the woods with a weed eater too.
Oh yeah.
Jordan's father, Marshall, he also won our Parent of the Year award. He's a volunteer. We started that new award this year. He went over the top helping with volleyball, always there to help with basketball. Same thing for track and field. And so,
and I would echo that with basketball as well. He was always willing to kind of go over and beyond and help out.
It's not a surprise that she and McKinley are both really, really good workers.
Yes,
so
yes, sir.
excited about that. Just
yes, and he was always there. And if I needed somebody to call lines in years past, he's done that as well. And a little side note for those that you don't know, he was he checked on me constantly during my illness with COVID. Brought over an oximeter so that I could check oxygen levels. So
Fantastic.
I mean, he just kind of goes above and beyond.
From the bottom of our hearts, job well done.
Thank you.
And next year, if somebody wants to come take his title, you're more than welcome to. Just kidding. All right. This is an award. You probably know the winner to this.
I do.
It's probably not going to be a huge surprise. For the third year in a row, the Coach's Wife of the Year. You say it.
Jordan Johnson.
Jordan Johnson, congratulations. You did a great job.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan, for all you do. We should mention one more award. Superintendent of the Year. Pretty big deal. In 3 years here, let's just kind of think, top of our head, we've added esports to our repertoire. New football stadiums for all three. New weight rooms for all three, gym upgrades for all three, not PE, but actual gym, the actual building, new bleachers, the list. This list goes on and on. What Dr. O'Malley is putting into athletics here is literally unmatched. Yeah. No one comes close to this. I am obviously appreciative. I think more importantly, our kids and our parents and our stakeholders are appreciative. So congratulations.
And it's an inviting atmosphere. Every time somebody drives by, they're saying,
yes.
"Wow, what you guys are doing
I
is
want to be a
amazing."
part of that right there.
And the reason is from Dr. O'Malley. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Oh man, just to see all the wonderful changes and the direction we're going is awesome. Big shout out to Dr. O'Malley coming in with the improvements and getting behind everybody, not just football, but softball, everybody, all sports across the board. He gets it.
Yep.
Yes, he gets it, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Shortall, talk to us about Dr. O'Malley winning the Superintendent of the Year, what it's meant to your program.
Dr. O'Malley, if you look around Florence, you can see the impact he's made on all of the schools in Florence. Look at the new stadium, it looks amazing. The equipment we have, the uniforms we have, all that, credit to Dr. O'Malley. Nice new warm-up equipment, everything like that. Without Dr. O'Malley's support, I don't think we would be able to have all this.
I don't think there's many. I don't think many people can say that they lack for nothing. Like on our needs list
absolutely.
right now is absolutely
Absolutely.
zero.
We have more than I could have even imagined, and that's all credit to Dr. O'Malley.
Dr. Richard O'Malley this year named the SCACA Superintendent of the Year. Pretty big deal.
That's a big deal.
Pretty
and,
big deal.
You know,
You've been in this business a long time. You ever had your superintendent win that award?
No.
Me neither.
have not. And I can definitely see why. I can see if it wasn't for his vision for athletics and academics too.
Sure.
I'm not going to ever leave out
I was going to say,
academics.
by the way, pretty strong.
Because he's a strong academic leader,
Yeah.
but his vision for athletics and his commitment to athletics is impeccable.
It's unmatched.
And I can't imagine, working for anyone better, and
Well said.
athletically and academically.
Well said. Anything else to add? We good to go?
I think we're good to go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And the highlight of our award show, Academic Athletes of the Year. So what we do, we take all the athletes in their respective sports, take the highest GPA, and let's go. Coach or Mr. Dowdell, give us football. Go.
That is going to be Sebastian
Harding played center, 2-year starter, got another year coming back, and just an unbelievable GPA.
I do have a
He'll
question.
be the president
Could
one
you
day.
get any smaller font?
This is it. This is all I got right
Okay.
here.
I
This
just
is all
wasn't
I got.
sure.
Then you get your glasses on. You're getting older. Keep going.
We are going volleyball.
Who you got?
Abigail Kane.
Abigail Kane, first-year volleyball player. She's 6 foot tall, so it was a natural fit. She came out, had a great season for us. A 2-sport athlete.
Girls tennis.
Girls tennis. Kate Sansbury, shocker, right?
Absolutely.
I think this is her 3rd year in a row. So just make sure I understand about Kate. Region 6 Co-Player of the Year, academic. Yeah, no big deal. Superstar Kate Sansbury.
Great job.
Who you
Women's
got?
golf.
Women's golf. I think that was Madeline Attia.
It is.
Madeline Attia. So she's mad about golf, mad about school. I see.
See how it goes.
We're getting good here. All right. Who you got next? Who you got next?
Women's cross country.
Women's cross country. I believe was Mary Tyndall Parham.
Yes.
Mary Tyndall Parham loves to run. Obviously loves to study.
Much good.
Who you got next? Who you got next?
Boys cross country.
Boys cross country. Let me guess. Connor Bailey.
Absolutely.
Shocker of the year. All these guys are like 5-0 and better, by the
Yeah.
way. These aren't like 3-7s. These are all 5-0s. So who else you got? Who else you got?
Men's swim.
Men's swim, I believe, was Vince Smith. Is that right?
Absolutely it is.
A great year in the pool and in the classroom.
Women's swim.
Mariah Doherty. That's
Absolutely.
right. Mariah Doherty. She is another one. Superstar year.
Yeah.
How about cheerleading? Who you got?
Katie Chase.
Well, that's a surprise.
Could
to
not
me.
do more for this building.
Katie Chase has done more in her time here than I have, for sure.
Yes.
And I feel like you and I work pretty hard, but Katie's
Yeah,
working
she is up. Anytime I've ever asked her to do something,
Yes.
she was there with a smile.
Yes. Katie
Thank
Chase,
you, Katie.
Job well done. Let's get into basketball.
Basketball, I'm going to go Amara Burgess.
Amara Burgess, I think she's 4'6", 4'5", something like that.
Fantastic.
Tremendous season. She's one of those kids. She's been here forever too.
She has.
And she's won this award every year.
I mean, she's really only been here for 4 years.
I think this is longer than me. I'm just saying. This is her 3rd year winning this award for basketball.
Congratulations.
Boys basketball. I know. It's Josh Daniels.
It is.
Josh Daniels.
He snuck up on me there.
He, all the time.
Yeah.
Josh is a sneaker upper.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, and he's light-footed, but he's really dominant in the classroom. He's also over 5'0".
Yeah, he does a really good job.
Does a really, really good job. We are through.
Did he call him light-footed?
He is light-footed. He's unbelievable. Let's go straight into baseball. I'm willing to bet it's Mac Fail.
Yeah, you were right.
2 years in a row. Mac had Tommy John surgery in the offseason. Didn't get to play as much as he wanted to because he's recovering, but another tremendous year. Who you got? Softball. Let me guess.
Allie
Meeker. Allie Meeker. She's a pitcher. Had a good season for us. Also over 5-0. Who else you got?
Women's soccer.
Anya. Wow. Okay. I knew she was high. I thought that Abigail because she won volleyball.
Yeah. Congratulations on your birthday.
She's also starting to get some of that recruiting love all of a sudden. One of the best goalies in the state. We got boys soccer. This was close. Boys soccer had 6 kids over a 5.0.
That's impressive.
I'm willing to bet it's one of the Spences.
It's Robert.
Is that right? Robert Spence. I think he's at a 5.4. Something just absurd.
Yeah. Congratulations, Robert.
Robert, tremendous season. Next up, we got golf. Is that right?
Men's tennis.
Let's go back to men's tennis. We're almost done with these.
Christopher Castro. Fantastic job in the classroom.
Absolutely. Our men's tennis team this year went from, I think we had like 7 or 8 last year, and this year we're up like 16 at one point.
That's excellent.
Christopher Castro is one of those first-year tennis players and ends up winning the Academic Award of the Year. Great job, Christopher. Who else you got?
Men's golf.
Men's golf. Who's the winner?
Lawson McFall.
Lawson. Is it McFall or McPhail? It's MAC. It's McFall. You're right. So Lawson, tremendous job.
Yeah, great job.
I'm guessing we have track coming up here. Is that right?
Women's track.
Women's track. Who was it?
She already won one.
Who? I can't see this font.
Mary
Tyndall Parham. Duh. We already talked about AP calculus, that kind of stuff. Mary Tyndall, tremendous year. And our boys, track and field.
Another freshman, just completely devoted, not only, really devoted in his academics.
Two-sport athlete, Luke Lemaster. Luke Lemaster, job well done.
Congratulations.
A big time win. Did we hit all these? Did we miss one? No, we got them all.
That's
so,
everything.
Mr. Dowdell, I think the Westies 2.0. Come to
it went pretty well.
Anything else you want to hit for Bango? Did we hit them all?
Well,
we got above and beyond.
I think I said awesome a lot in this one, so I think that's going to be another checkbox.
I'll look forward to it.
Yeah.
Right now it is May the 25th. The next sporting event here will be
home football.
Home in August. So hey, 3 months. We got 3 months to get ready. So
really looking forward.
Thank you guys for taking the time to join us. We had a fantastic year, and next year we'll do this in person.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Signing off.